All right. And we are live. The last word, LordCognito, Ebontis. No tie guy Travis tonight. So we taking it back, a little flashpoint action, how it used to be back in the day. Salute to Trav, man. He's out there doing 1,000 reviews, a million things going on, how many games and embargoes. He's the hardest working man in showbiz. Salute to my brother, tie guy Travis. But let's start with you, the cheetah, man. How are you doing?
I'm busy, but I'm not quite as occupied as our guest. If you guys are not watching the video right now, you should definitely tune in to just the early part because our guest has a guest himself, but we will get to him here in just a second. Let's just say I've got huskies and that one's fluffier than mine. So,
Yes.
for me, I can confirm I am currently playing a driving game of the Microsoft
Ooh.
Persuasion.
Okay.
Yep. Shout out
NBA
to shout out to a very good friend of mine.
Mhm.
Just put me in the right contact and reached out, and yeah, so I'm working on seeing if I can get a review together. I've got family in town this weekend, so it's like I'm going to be a little swamped. And then I think I also can say I am in the creator program for Lords of the Fallen.
Oh, nice.
So,
Nice.
yeah, potentially going to be busy. Also, potentially in the creator program for something else too. I don't
Okay,
think I have
boy.
enough time for all of these stacked on top of each other, but we'll try and get done what I can. All I can say is thank you to all you guys, the support, whether you're new, old, if you came from Starfield, there was like thousands of you that found my channel from that, from many years of Destiny or the podcast or anything else. Yeah, seems that my wife keeps screaming at me to be like, your channel's not small. I'm like, I know. I always look at other people that are way beyond me though, so I still feel small. So it's just that kind of thing. But yeah, kind of busy in a good way, so can't complain.
Cool. Yeah, for me, man, it's just been a lot of gaming. Obviously, I've still finished. I mean, me and Maddie are gonna do a Starfield kind of thing. So what part of it he wants to do is like go through every faction thing. So I'm just
Yep.
cleaning up some faction questline stuff.
Nice.
So I've been doing that, and you'll be proud of me. After being scared for about 2-3 weeks, it's the longest Destiny drought I've ever had.
Oh yeah.
I said, all right, let me see if that patch lands. I heard it was safe, and I fired it up. So yeah, it felt good to be home. It felt good to be home. I didn't have any error codes. I didn't get bumped to orbit. Nothing happened, but I was able to rock out with that. And then yeah, other than that, I just want to thank everybody for really showing support for our Peter Moore episode that we had recently. Obviously, former head of Xbox, Sega, EA. And he was at Unity for a while.
So we discussed today too, Jason.
Yeah, a lot of stuff going on. But yeah, that's pretty much it. But enough about us. We've got this amazing returning guest that's been patient listening to us ramble. So let's bring him in, man.
Indeed. Welcome to The Last Word, episode number 266. It has been a tough week for the games industry with many losing jobs, but small glimpses of hope for the entertainment industry space are trying to make things a little more bearable as deals to help the workers at many levels are starting to come together. Tonight we are joined by a special guest we haven't caught up with in about 3 years. His
Wow.
gaming journey is old school for sure. PC gaming on an Apple II, console gaming at his friend's house because he's the one who had the goods, and getting his own console because Halo, of course. It would be fitting of this man. It would be fitting this man of action would be into epic campaigns that Bungie has put its protagonist through, because his gaming journey found a great centerpiece with Halo and Destiny through the years. And while this man does enjoy gaming, when time fits, of course, even sneaking in some time with his Switch, movies are this man's life, from early filmmaking to production design, and now stunt work to pair with his martial arts background. You've likely seen him flying across the screen, out a window, off a balcony, or taking a punch to the face. A wise man once said warlocks were the best class. Honestly, tonight I don't have the support host to argue with that, so let's welcome a warlock for life, IRL guardian, the one, the only, James Newman. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. I'm fighting off my Samoyed the whole intro.
You are totally fine. It's hilarious.
He's trying to be in the podcast.
Hey, we like cameos, so you know.
But it's great. Thank you for the intro. It's amazing that it's been 3 years already since the last time we've chatted, and so much has happened since then.
So much.
A little bit.
Yeah, we got to get into it. So for those who may not be familiar with you,
Yeah.
in the Destiny community first, like before we get into the career stuff, like tell the people, your attraction to Destiny, what kind of things you used to do with Destiny, because what we've known you for, it's a lot of people in the past may know, but some of the new listeners might not know who you
So like you guys said, IRL Guardian is translates to in real life Guardian because especially during COVID times when we were all just stuck in front of our own devices in front of us, I took the opportunity to try to reenact some of the animations of the movie that a lot of players like are known and fond of in the Destiny and Destiny 2 games, and just kind of make videos of them, add the sound effects, add some of the visual effects to it, and just make it something that one was my own, but two that fans and players would easily recognize. And a lot of people were super into it, and I was lucky enough to do some movie of the weeks during
Woo.
the
Yeah.
well, what is known as the TWID now.
Yeah.
And
Travis was actually in one of those. He wanted to be here, but he couldn't.
Travis was. Destin Legary was in one. I think
Nice.
Fran was in. Well, Fran was in. Yeah. The
Yeah.
quarantine was a special one for sure.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, that's what I'm known for in the Destiny
Mhm.
community, and I'm super proud of that stuff and the people I got to connect with along the way.
No doubt, no doubt. You got some more questions for me before we get into the new stuff?
Oh, yeah, I'm trying to think, like, I know I kind of briefly, like, went through a little bit of the gaming history, and I know we talked to you before a little bit, but I was just gonna say, outside of the old history, we haven't talked to you in 3 years. This year alone has a lot of crazy games that have come out, and then I know you mentioned, you've been kinda sneaking in time on Switch. So, depending on busy doing cool movies, which we'll talk about here very soon,
Yeah.
just what big games in the past, few years have really, either had a chance to pull you in or that you've been able to make time for?
Uh, that's tough. It's like I've slipped in and out of gaming so much recently. I'm gonna confess I haven't touched Destiny in months. I did get Lightfall and I tried to hop back in, but it didn't grab me. I think
Mhm.
it's I think it's because I don't have like the same group of people that I would like run the activities with, so that makes a big difference, at least in the way I play.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But Sifu came to Xbox. I really enjoyed
Ooh.
that game. I
Nice.
did Baby S Baby mode just to enjoy it.
Oh,
Um,
Yeah.
it's a
but I,
tough
I
one,
was
but yeah, it's great.
it it's tough. Sorry, this dog. uh,
You are fine, I understand.
You're good, you're good.
um, yeah, it was tough, but definitely a really rewarding game, and I could see how it got some like game of the year nods. That was like really enjoyable for me to just hop into, do something different.
Oh,
Uh, and what else did I play?
love me some seafood. I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm so
Yeah,
glad. Yeah,
that
I
game's
actually
incredible, man.
it's
Like
Yeah.
incredible. Yeah.
the way they designed the button mapping on,
Mhm,
like, obviously you can change it, but like
mhm.
just the default one, like
Yes.
it's one of the closest ones that like just with my fingers and thumbs that I felt like I was fighting. Like I felt
Yes.
like I was slipping, dodging, parrying. Like
Yep.
it was the closest that you could do that with your fingers and like see it happen on screen. So that was like
Mhm.
really rewarding, especially from a martial artist,
Oh,
and like it inspired me in many ways. But yeah, super hard game, super rewarding.
mhm.
Love that game. Hope there's a follow up that
Yeah.
they do.
Yeah, I would love to see a
Um,
And
second one.
yeah, definitely. I want to get some more seafood balls. I'm so glad you mentioned that game. But no, I'm glad you said it because for me, two things. One, martial arts sensibilities, and I come from the era of sort of older, the run, short flicks, the traditional martial arts, and like the way even the way it started, like the old tropes, my teacher, you're going through the revenge story. But the thing that really resonated with me is again, like you said, it just felt like real fighting, and some of the camera angles, like I know even you talk about when you get to the club and like the
Oh, the
club
club's
scene.
one. It's the
Oh
museum though, just blew me
yeah.
away.
Museum. Oh my god, that was.
Oh,
I played through the story like twice, probably in like 2-3 nights
Mhm.
uh, combined. But yeah, that museum level was
yeah. That
was
one.
really creative how they changed like the way the game played out in front of you, and just going through the statues and the lighting tricks. It was phenomenal.
Shout out to Slow Clap. They really. I'm glad you appreciate it. I can see you appreciating that one. But continue. You talk about the other games too.
And I think like you mentioned, I kind of like dived into Switch. I really kind of dived into like the indie scene that's on Switch. There's so many games that are on there, and that's kind of a big reason I stepped away from Destiny. I felt like I had to, and like many players had to be so faithful and loyal to Destiny. And then once I broke that, I was like, wait, there's so many other games. Wow, look at this brave new world in front of me that's outside of like
so true.
New world.
Yeah.
So true.
Everybody.
So yeah, I've been playing a lot on my Switch.
Any like solid indies? Because there's like random stuff I play. Like there was one I think the start of last year called Nobody Saves the World. I don't know if that made it to Switch, but it's just like the random indies you find that just. Speaking of indies, by the way, Cocoon came out today. I really want to play that. I don't know if that's on
I got
Switch.
really good reviews.
Yeah, exactly. And that's from Limbo and Inside, which Cog and I both love. It's one of the creators of that.
Wow.
So,
I played this game recently called Yuppie Psycho, which is like
I remember that. I know the developer who made that game.
Yeah, it's like it's wild. I'm only a few minutes in, but like you're like this new employee at this office building, and like there's like demons like abducting and like maiming people, and the guy that is like your boss or like claims there's no boss, he's like, what are you talking about? Like you shouldn't have gotten in there. We put like a cabinet in front of the door so you couldn't. He's like, but this is happening behind it. He's like, you shouldn't have been in. Like, we thought the cabinet was going to stop you from going in there. Don't worry about it. That and Vampire Survivors came to Switch, and that was very satisfying. I didn't think I was going to be into that game. I heard a lot about it and how kind of like addicting that is. And I didn't know that the guy that made that game designed video slot machine games.
Oh wow!
Before he made that game, so it like kind of makes sense that it's like that lottery effect coming at you. But that was a really satisfying game. Definitely like super fun to pick up and just see, hordes and hordes of guys come at you and you just kind of rip through them.
Nice.
But yeah, that's off the top of the dome of like what I've been playing recently.
No, good list, man. Good list. Definitely love the indie scene. Yeah, I know about Yuppie Psycho. I remember. I think we covered that game maybe 3 or 4 years ago. I think the developer is another indie, and he's always got some. His games are always out there, but they were like very unique. And they do have an addictive property to them, so I do remember that game. But man, so you've been doing that. Took a little Destiny break. Look, you picked the right time. It was Nightfall, which wasn't as well received by the masses.
My feed is still Destiny players, so I do pick up on like what the vibe is of the community. But I also just preloaded the Phantom Liberty DLC for Cyberpunk. I'm very excited.
Tomorrow. Yes,
excited to hop back in. I'm gonna like start a fresh character. I did find someone made which I think is cool. Someone made a build that's supposed to like represent the Major, who's the main character in Ghost in the Shell. So I think that's kind of cool. Kind of like tune the stats to something like that and like role play a little bit, and then go through the DLC with Adrius. I think it'll be great because I'm excited.
Yeah, great. We hear great things. The 2.0 system, people are saying it's a complete revamp. The game has come such a long way even before the 2.0.
I never got that far into it, so it's like for me to start over is not even like asking that much.
Yeah.
So for me to like, and that's the thing I've heard is like if you get involved with Phantom Liberty, it can have some different endings and some of the choices and stuff. So I'm like, at some point I got to get through it because I never got that far in because I was like, I'll just kind of wait for patches and polish to get into it, and then got busy with other stuff, and now we're at like 2.0 Phantom Liberty, kind of like they're mostly done after kind of fixing up a few odds and ends with this one, but kind of does finally seem like the time of the game 3 years ago or however long it's been for us to get the right version of it, which shout out to them for getting it to where it is.
No, absolutely.
It's also kind of surprising that this is the only DLC they're gonna do.
Yeah.
Like I guess it's been 2 years since it dropped, and I don't know. Like maybe they think like there's still like some legs on it after 2.0 I dropped, and like that's a big thing. But it's kind of surprising that they're like, yeah, we did that. Like we're going back to Witcher. I don't know. I'm
Yeah,
surprised that they wouldn't do like another DLC or something.
I agree. I guess that's a great point because I agree. I think there's still so much to be told and so many things they can do with it. My gut probably tells me because the initial reception was so negative because of the issues that maybe that could have changed things. But who knows? I mean, obviously it's been a almost like a redemption story, right? And then everyone's loving it, and then obviously if this is received, maybe plan to change later on. But I know, like you said, Witchers, they said it was coming and stuff like that. But I agree. I think I feel like we still need more Cyberpunk now that it's back. But I got to get it. My man Idris Elba's in there. I got to see
that
what's going on.
trailer with him.
Yeah,
It looks so good. Like the graphics in that game. I mean, I'm waiting to get like a 40 or 5090 whenever those things come out, probably in like 2025. But I mean, yeah, and that's probably when I'll get to the name game the way as I'm busy as I am anyway. But either way, the stuff that I see when I just see like the trailer come through in 4K, just watching that on YouTube, I'm like, this is gorgeous. And there was a split second, I'm like, trailer, cinematic, trailer, real. Okay, it's a trailer. I'm like, damn, that is. Yeah, no, that
trailer has the greatest marketing line ever. Someone tweeted about this where the quote at the end is the game is fixed.
And that works on so many levels.
Yes.
So many levels.
And the person tweeted it. I wish I had the handle of them, but they tweeted it. It's like whoever came up with that, like pat it on the back, every raise, like let them have like 5-week vacation, like whatever. Like that person deserves it. Like that's so good that like talking about narrative wise and like the game as a whole, like outside of it. So good.
Perfect. Yeah, perfect. I think for me, I was at PAX West and the turnaround for me started. They had no one knew what it was, but they were doing. That's when I heard about Edge Runners, and it was like this anime that was related to Cyberpunk. Right, and I came in again. The game. This is when they started making the patches, but I haven't played the game in such a long time. And I remember watching it, and it was like a preview, world probably like 2 episodes before released to the public, kind of like screening kind of a deal. And I was like, oh, this is good. And this is going to make me want to get back into the universe because they really did a good job. And the cyber psychosis and the stuff. And I'm like, yo. Then I'm like, damn, I really hate Adam Smasher now.
Yeah, that's what got me back in. And I finished. I kind of streamlined the main story and I finished it. I was like, why? Like, I don't know. I was like, why did I never finish this game? And Edge Runners dragged me back in real quick.
I agree. I think that anime really was a catalyst to get people to come back, at least check it out and remember why they like this universe. And then the game was fixed and now all the way to where we are now. So yeah, I'm in the same boat. I'm going to dive in that bad boy Phantom Liberty tomorrow and this weekend and try to get going in it. Salute.
Yeah, I still need to watch that. The one that I was surprised got me as good as it did was Arcane. Arcane was that art style that they did in that show is kind of on its own level. It's really, really cool. I mean, Edge Runners I've heard great things about too, and I just haven't watched it. But Arcane for like the unique anime, but rendered. It's kind of one of those where they're combining a couple different layers and stuff to it. That was one I actually really, because I don't usually ever watch anime. That's not as much been my thing. But watching that was kind of a mix, and I was just like, it's a very well done show. And it's always cool to see like a video game get a budget, good writers and stuff like that. Same with like Edge Runners. And it's just like, it's rare we get good stuff. I actually saw the Gran Turismo movie not that long ago. I will tell you, I know the marketing and everybody's going to be like, oh, there was like 2,000 trailers for a Gran Turismo movie because there were a lot of them. It's a better movie than a lot of people probably give it credit for. It's actually a pretty good movie. I enjoyed it. I really like racing, like cars. I could sit there. There's one point in that movie they pull up in a car. I'm like, I know exactly what car that is. That should not be in this movie, and I really don't care because I'm looking at the car right now. It's like one of those where I'm like, that is just an amazing car. I'm not going to spoil it until you see it, but it's like, it is cool when video games get the right budget and right writers, and we'll get to why those are so important here in just a little bit. Not literally intentional, but it is like, it's one of those things where when it's like, because it's tough sometimes when you go through and you play a game or you watch something, you're like, there's a lot of potential here, but like the words that you're saying, and it's like somebody could give their life to a performance and the words could suck, and you could have like good words and a bad actor still it's this weird balance of things. But it's like as you get into things a little bit more and what Last of Us TV show, that's another one, man. That did extremely well. I mean,
Yeah.
that third
Great
episode
show.
alone was just a movie in
Yeah.
itself. Like, those
Great
type of
show,
moments remind you it's like video games can be done well, but we have so much of a history of video games being done so poorly for so long. Everybody's so questionable on if they won't even touch the topic. So it's nice that we've actually got a few in the past few years that have been good. But I was like, I will apologize to a lot of the podcast tonight because I'm going to talk to our guest a lot about movies and stuff.
Yeah.
Just because I'm a huge movie buff and I have a wall of DVDs upstairs. I finally took one of my walls down and put it in like a DVD case just to save space. But I've been watching
did with
movies
mine.
for, yeah, it's like I've been watching movies for as long as I can remember. I worked in a movie theater and had free movies and everything. So I've been,
Oh, that's amazing.
yeah, for
Yeah.
too long. I never got into the industry like you, but I've watched from afar, which is always fun. I guess I kind of want to hit the first topic. Like, we may as well just hit it square on the nose.
Let's go. Let's get right into it.
Movies are kind of in the news for
Yeah.
obvious reasons. And
Yes.
it does seem like there is a little bit of, something being worked on for at least the writer side of things. It does seem like the screen actors are still in negotiations. And now there's part of like video games that are, I guess, approved to strike if they want to, but that actually hasn't been done yet. So I kind of wanted to get your take just from what you've seen, whether it's people you know in the industry, what's been going on. This is not going to be your usual last word, but I do rarely get a chance to talk to somebody this close to it. So I got to ask. And yeah, we'll take some chat questions, maybe too, like favorite directors. We'll get to those. But just for the whole strike and everything going on, like from your side, what have you seen? What's it been like? Where are we at? Good, bad? How you doing?
How you holding up, man?
It's been long. I will let people in. I am a Screen Actors Guild member. That's how I'm able to do stunts on shows and movies and video games as well. So like, whether it's unrelated to, the podcast, it does affect video games and like, all those shows that you mentioned that, people love, that whether they are adaptations of video games or not. HBO just came out and said they're streamlining The Last of Us season 2 because now that they have the writers back. And then to go on that, so the writers went on strike and it was 146 days, and the last 5 days they were at a negotiation table in their own headquarters with the collective group of major Hollywood studios, which is known as the AMPTP. I'm not going to try to spell out that. We'll just say
all the heads of the big studios pretty well.
Yeah, and then some of the CEOs like Bob Iger and Tim Sarandis from Netflix.
Yep.
So they hammered out a deal, and as of now, it's they call it a tentative deal because it has to be what they call ratified and codified, and basically lawyers come in, make sure like the I's are dotted and then T's are crossed, and
verbiage.
Verbiage and all that, and then it goes to all the members of the WGA to vote on it. I think the last thing they did release was the actual like bullet points of like, this is what we're getting, and they got a lot, and it's a good deal as far as I can see in my.
I was going to ask you. Yeah,
it's a good deal. They got a lot. And it's what they definitely deserve. The strike was not for nothing, and I think, in my opinion, the studios have the money. It's just like they just want the control, so they're gonna go cold us for as long as possible, and it's a war of attrition. Really, it's like who's gonna give up first. So they didn't realize that we were gonna, and I say we, but we were standing in solidarity, so that's why I say we. But the writers, stood for so long in solidarity, and they got what they want, and I think that's great. And now, the Screen Actors Guild, we also went on strike as of June 4th or 5th, and we stood with the writers and the picket lines and all that, and we're asking for a lot of similar things. AI is the thing, residuals on streaming is a big thing. And they released a formal joint statement then with the AMPTP that Monday they are going to enter negotiations with the studios. Not sure of the location, but I think they're going to have them come to them because the AMP TV office, like headquarters, I hear is like an atrocious place to like try to have negotiations. Like so many complaints were were about that office and about how like poorly set up it was. So yeah, that's good news. Hopefully, next week they kind of do the same thing they did with the writers, and they kind of hammer out like day by day, like we're gonna get a deal done, because the clock's ticking. There's
Yeah.
movies to be promoted. They can't do it without actors. That's why Scorsese has all these clips up, because he has to promote Killers of the Flower Moon himself.
Mhm.
Yep.
And the studios have an agenda, and they have
Mm.
fall and New Year TV show lineups that they can't
Yeah.
get done without writers. So it's like
Yeah.
the work needs to get done one way or another, you know. So
Mhm.
yeah, I just think, and it feels like it's a really big labor movement overall. Like VFX workers from Marvel have unionized, even like the actors over in like South Korea, who have been involved in like Squid Games and like a lot of Korean
Yeah.
properties that come to Netflix, don't really have like a union backing, so like they're kind of like striking or like
Right.
asking for more. And then going to video games, so we did as the Actors Guild, we did
Mhm.
authorize almost unanimously. It was like
Mhm.
98% of us voted yes for a strike, and
Okay.
that's really. It's not that we're gonna strike. It's like we're prepared to strike if the offer from those large companies in the video game
Mhm.
industry, like Activision, Take-Two, there's a
Right.
few others on that list,
Mhm.
present a deal that's not kind of.
Satisfactory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I want to jump in for a second because, especially with video games, a conversation that's come up has been about AI a lot, and the implementation on that. And I just wanted to know, like, what's your standpoint, like, and also some of the reasons why this fight is so important to you personally. What are the things that really resonate for you to kind of say, hey, we need to fight for this and hold the line, so to speak, because otherwise, what's that expression? You fall for everything, kind of like you kind of gotta like fight and kind of dig in. So I'm curious for you personally and the AI thing. I was just curious, where you're at with that.
because I used to draw, like
Mhm.
I'm an artist, I'm a filmmaker, like
Yeah.
I am an artist, right? So it's like, people post things like I did this, and like I don't know, it just kind of takes like the hard work out of like art. And not that art needs to be hard work, but it takes the human out of it. And that's like, if you've I don't know, it's like it's almost like that age old thing, like if you like do like your housework like with your own hands, like there's like a satisfaction you won't ever get if you just paid someone to do it. Like it's like kind of like the same thing with that. So like I feel like there'll be like our feet will like kind of like lift off the ground, like the more we like have like computers do shit for us.
Mhm.
So it's like I don't know, like you kind of like lose the human part of
Element.
yourself, and like
Mhm.
or the human part of art. And I don't know, I think there's something really beautiful about how art is just something we can make.
Yes.
Like a computer, and that's the other thing. Like a computer, and I'm glad that the writers got what they got with the AI clause and all
Yeah,
that.
that was
Um,
huge.
it's huge,
Hmm.
and I think another big thing was that anything AI makes can't be copywritten, which kind
Mm.
of kind of made like all the studios be like, oh shit, okay, we can't like own
Mm.
this.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
and I forgot where I was going, but yeah, man. I mean, I'm sure some things can be made. Like I haven't seen Secret Invasion, but like the whole intro to that was like AI made, and like
Oh, wow.
I
I
guess like
heard that.
an intro's an
Mhm.
intro. Like I'm not gonna be like, no, fuck that show, I won't watch it. But it's
Mhm.
like, sorry if I'm cursing too much.
No, you good.
We're in a
Uh,
half hour in. I think you're
We're in
safe.
halfway. We're past the demonetization
Yeah,
phase. We good.
you're good. I marked a few of them as explicit, but yeah, you're past the
Yeah.
first half hour. You're good.
it's the New York in me.
It's like
No, we
And
talk.
yeah, I don't know. It's like for me, I understand people put like blood, sweat, and tears into like video
Mhm.
intros, but I guess me personally, that's something that I won't exactly. I won't boycott that. But if it's like if you're gonna like AI someone's face because
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
they're dead or they didn't agree to the project, like then like it's I don't know. There's boundaries. I think when something like that happens, I don't know. It's a slippery slope. I think it's fun to like type in something and like whether it's ChatGPT or like you just make something and it like pops out like wow that was so easy. It's like cool instant gratification. It's like it's definitely like you know
Mhm.
that vibe, but then
But
it's
also
like
when you
well
read through it, man.
Yeah, some
yeah,
of
then
it,
it's
like,
like
don't make no sense.
it can't do that, right? And
No.
the biggest thing with writers and what I've seen with people post, it's like you know a robot never had like a tumultuous childhood.
Right.
They never got their heart broken. They never lost everything that was meant to them, and that like those experiences like feed sorry my dogs feed storytelling and
Yeah.
experience and like emotion, right? Like a
Mhm.
computer can only pull from the internet like what it thinks emotion is, and it doesn't really think. It's going based on like word match and like things like
Mhm.
that. So
Mhm.
I
yeah,
also
that's my rant.
heard, I listened to a few podcasts, probably too many, but I heard one thing and it was talking about the idea that a while years ago, somewhere in cinema, like the hero story, like the setup of the hero story, the act structure of it became like so just synonymous with a lot of movies with like the protagonist goes through this thing and you got to have this like incident where something goes wrong and you got like there's a very formulaic way that movies are done. And when it comes to writing and scripts, as you said, like the experiences that someone could have, there's no computer that's going to go experience that, so they can't turn around and make something based off a new experience. For one, it's only the experiences that they can pull from, so it's going to be the same stuff, and it's all going to kind of funnel into some of the same things over and over and over in that point. So you're not going to get a lot of like original ideas. I mean, it can go read a book and take some idea, but it's not going to pull an Oppenheimer out of its butt out of nowhere, because that alone's like just
No,
editing. Because man, Oppenheimer was it was a
wait,
journey.
I
And
haven't seen it. Don't say
no,
anything.
I was just gonna say it was a journey in IMAX, because it is not a movie you picture in IMAX, but it was definitely a journey to watch. But you're not gonna get a movie like that from something making it up. Now, some people could say it's like 250 years in the future when you got the Matrix, and I'm like, that is not where we're at right now. Somebody could, but also on the other side, just some of the
But also, if the Matrix was our reality, like as cool as it could be, like that's my all-time favorite movie, like
Oh,
hands
classic.
can't
down.
go
Oh,
wrong.
classic. Matrix
It's
1.
it's Matrix One. It's
Yes.
like think about that life that like Tom Anderson lives. Like he's a skin body in a
Yeah, exactly.
gooey tube. Like cool, yeah. 250 years later, I'll see you there.
Yeah,
We'll
it's
all be
not the curse words
batteries.
that are going to get us demonetized, by the way. It's the skin body and a gooey tube. That's what's going to get us demonetized.
You good. You
Someone
good.
clip that out and just put it.
Yeah. Be like, what were they
It's
talking
something
about
that's
here?
not the
I
Matrix.
do not know, and we're not going to ask. No, I mean, yeah,
Someone
Matrix is.
walked in and
Yeah,
then
just walk
threw
over that
out someone
part.
here. What?
They just tuned in for the live show and be like, well, that's weird. What are you guys talking about?
Mhm. It's hilarious.
Another thing you mentioned,
I-
like, not to like completely separate, but if I don't bring it up, I
No,
swear
let's
I'm
do
going to
it.
forget. I've been rewatching Suits. I watched it a while ago. And that is a very specific one that came up about this, because the writers for Suits made like just next to nothing from
Yep.
like, and it was one of the number one shows watched on Netflix for hours.
Yep.
I mean, there's 9 seasons of it, and the writers of that get next to nothing. So that's the other side when it comes
Nope.
to syndication, because it's a very, very old model. And now with streaming services, everybody's got one. Like every company has a platform, but we all have like, 7 different streaming services that we're subscribed to, but we're paying all this money. Whether they
Yep.
can make quality products or not, that's up to who they choose to, make them. But also it's like all the other stuff that's on there that now they don't have to pay for, because it's not going on air or broadcasted or on like a basic, like HBO is going to buy the rights to this for a year and they're going to have it on their platform. It's like, that's one thing, but it's like now it's just on our streaming service and we're like, yep, that's nice for us and not for anybody else. And that was one of the things when I heard the Netflix one, it's like it was the most watched in however many hours, and all the writers together I think made
and that means nothing.
Couple $100, and it was just like, wait, what?
Yeah,
So yeah,
it means nothing.
That part with the writers, I think, was one of the biggest. Like AI was one because you got the Chat GPT like blowing up everywhere, but the change in how, I mean, life works. Things just go straight to streaming now. You don't even have a movie theater release. You don't even have a TV release or anything of those places to have your syndication. I know there was the sorry, go ahead.
No, sorry. And like you said, like, you know, HBO acquires the rights. Like, all these streaming platforms are only trying to get subscriber bases, right? Like, Netflix is gonna, if you really know that, like, me and my wife have every platform, like Peacock, Paramount, like even like the lower tier ones, like, have them all. You know, we pay for the no ads on the Hulu one, and like, you know, I'm sure some people are out there, but like, why didn't you unsubscribe because you're on strike? For that to affect the studios, everyone would have, literally everyone in the country would have to unsubscribe on the same day, and they would not feel the effects for months. Like, it's just not going to happen, and it's not in the cards to happen. Like, people want their entertainment, they want to watch things, pass the time, whatever. But going back to what you just said, so all these companies are just vying for our attention, right? If you kind of notice, like, HBO, like, what like a vibe like would be on HBO, like, you get the, you know, Game of Thrones, or like Euphoria, Last of Us, which is great. Chat GPT could never make The Last of Us, by the way.
No.
And then Netflix, like, you have more like the reality shows, and there's a lot more team drama on Netflix, and then Netflix tries to garner a lot of like anime properties as well.
Yes.
And then Hulu is kind of like the similar thing, but it's like a mix between like some of the Disney properties, and obviously Disney Plus has like everything under the mouse, and Marvel and Star Wars.
Under the mouse,
yeah. And so they're all vying for attention. They're all making more stuff because they're like, we're gonna come out with this show. Like, we got Ahsoka. Like, you love that character from this show. Like, and we're gonna have Hayden Christensen in it or something, or like Vader. You know, they're trying to get people to their platform. And like you said, like, with Suits, it was brought the older show, but you know, Netflix acquired the rights, and then they have it on their platform, and they're like, millions of people watch it. #1 show, all that. Like, those ratings, like Heart of Stone with Gal Gadot, not a great movie, but it was like #1 for like, you know, a week or so. And it's like, because it's a new thing and people think like, okay, I'm gonna watch it. But back to the point about Suits, it's like, there's nothing that's giving return to the creators. And I think Amazon Prime actually just announced that they're going to add ads, commercial breaks between their stuff, because
or you get a $3 upcharge for no ads or something.
Yeah, you pay more to get rid of it. And you'll probably see that more on streaming platforms, where they're going to add ads, because with the new Writers Guild contract, they're going to get some back end stuff for residuals, right? Which they deserve. And you're probably going to see more like ads. Like, streaming platforms will probably kind of slide back toward cable, but they'll just be like much bigger. They'll be like on-demand channels in a way.
Yeah, that's kind of what I like. You're kind of taking me into something I was going to ask you, because I mean, I've been watching movies all my life and TV and stuff like that, and you've probably been doing it even more hardcore, it sounds like, being a filmmaker. Yeah, coming from like, we cut the cord a while ago and all that type of stuff, and now we're getting into an era of it's not always the best, but there is so much of it out there, because as you said, now you have Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, Peacock, which I still hate the name of, change your marketing, and then Paramount Plus, and then I feel like there's probably one I'm forgetting, and then you can go down like Crunchyroll and everything else. Like, all of those places on top of networks, because you still have like your NCISs and your other stuff that end up on these things anyway, depending on who buys them. But all
like
of these
Peacock or whatever.
Or
AMC Plus.
AMC Plus has one. That's right. Yeah, I told you I didn't think of them all.
You just add a grammatical sign at the end, and you got a streaming platform.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. A Plus or the actual Word
Mhm.
Plus, Apple TV. That's another.
Mhm.
Actually, that's a really good one quality wise. They've had some really good stuff.
That's the
But-
one I don't have actually,
There is
Mhm.
some damn good stuff on there. I will tell you that.
as I've seen.
Severance is very weird, but worth a watch for the mind just trip. Ted Lasso, I would tell everyone in the world to watch that show.
Hmm.
I literally cannot recommend it enough. Like that is one you just please experience that show. And there was one other one that I watched. Oh, Shrinking. That is a damn good show.
Oh, that's the Harrison Ford one, right?
Harrison Ford and
Jason
Jason
Sudeikis.
Segel.
Oh, it's Seagull. Yeah, sorry.
That is a show again, writers wise, so well written.
Mm.
And so that's like one of the, I mean, Ted Lasso, fantastic, like everybody. But I was like, Shrinking, when I watched that, I was just like, that's good. Like, it's well written. And that was another one of those. But you have like, before it was cable, and then things went to from main broadcast to cable. So then you'd see like the reruns of the main shows that were here. Now you've got main shows that are running. You've got 7 different platforms with things that are exclusive there. So I was going to ask you, where do you feel we are in the era of television? Is it the golden era where you have so much to pick from? Is it all kind of junky because it's like not all the best, or is there so much good stuff out there that there's almost too much that not everybody can experience it? Where do you think we're at in the world of just like, I'm even on TV, movies is a different story, but just even in the world of TV right now, where do you think we are for just like, where's this era?
I think that's a good question. I feel like it's like similar to the gaming year, like 2023
Yeah.
for games.
Not a
has
bad way
been,
to describe it.
it has been huge, right? There's banger after banger after like
Yep.
month after month, and it's like in a couple of weeks we have game of the year caliber games gonna hit players' hands. Like Alan Wake, I don't need to name them. People know.
Yeah.
And we
know.
just
you
got
can go through them.
no, I'll save it. We all know. We've just got gotten through like Starfield and like what else just dropped. I can't name, but
Mhm.
it's similar. Like we've gotten fantastic movies. Like I haven't seen Barbie yet. I haven't seen Oppenheimer, but those movies out of not nowhere, but like people could expect like some success out of those. But those are like now like movies of the year. Like I saw the Super Mario movie when it came out earlier this year.
Nice.
Awesome movie. So happy that it was like that enjoyable. But again, there's movie after movie coming out. We had an installment in the Mission Impossible series. We had an
Did you
installment.
see that, by the way?
Yeah. I thought it was good.
I enjoyed
not
it.
as
I
good
mean, I was like, I
not
didn't
as good
think,
as Fallout.
yes. Yeah,
Um,
I'm waiting for part 2, but I was like, I still enjoy it. I could talk to you about probably him for a little while just in the world of stunts, but we'll see if we have
Tom?
time.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll get to that a little bit if we have time. But anyway, continue.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel like we're in a similar age. Like great year for movies, great year for games. There's some great shows that come out. I feel like there's definitely momentum. Like obviously the strike didn't really help a lot of productions.
Right.
Customers probably won't feel that until like 2024.
Yep.
Yeah.
There'll be like some sort of lull. They'll see some things come back or like replay and like things like
Good point.
that
Good
because
point.
they got to make up that gap. But yeah, I feel like as far as like shows and like things on streaming platforms, like I feel like we're still like just scratching the potential. Really, like just give new people voices and better things will come out of it. Like Edge Runners, like who would have thought we needed an anime from Cyberpunk?
Thanks. Agreed.
And then it's just inevitable that we do something with Destiny, right? Like
Oh yeah.
that's got to make it some way to like a small screen, a big screen, like something needs to come of that. And
Yeah.
there's just potential out of it. And like you mentioned at the top of the show, Gran Turismo, like surprisingly like a good movie. I heard the same thing.
Mhm.
That's I forgot the director, but
Neil Blomkamp, if I remember right.
yeah.
Okay.
District 9 guy.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Chappie and Elysium and all that stuff.
Happy. Yeah.
but yeah, I don't, it's a great time for like properties made on video games. It's a great time for movies and it's a great time for games. You can't complain either way.
Yeah,
But-
absolutely. I think especially what you said in reference to Destiny and the obviously the universe seems fit for some type of television, movie or some at least anime adaptation or what have you. And I thought it was interesting that when they started announcing that Luke Smith and Mark Noseworthy are now going to be like surveyors of the Destiny universe. So to me, that kind of signaled, oh, they're going into media. They want to take this somewhere, kind of thing. So as a
I
person,
took it the same exact way. Yeah.
okay, you thought this, yeah, because it almost
I
felt like.
did.
Yeah, like you're Kevin Feige now of the Destiny
Yeah.
cinematic universe, and you want to see what media they can take. So, if you had, because you've done things in the Destiny universe, this is what you've been known for. You one of the OGs before these thoughts were put out there. So, like, if it was up to you, like, what medium do you think fits Destiny best? Would you want the live action, like Halo? Would you want the anime side, Edge Runners kind of thing? Like, what do you think might be the best way to get this universe? And then I got a follow-up question.
I'm gonna let him go.
How,
but I know what I would say.
How, and then also whatever the medium,
Yeah.
how do you approach it if it was up to you?
I'm so ready. Okay.
Let's go.
We've already seen it done live action, not by me,
Mhm.
but by them themselves. The first trailer,
Yep.
Yes.
had Giancarlo Esposito like say a bedtime story, and like it was about like the Guardians. We've already seen it done live action. We just need to keep doing that, but do it in a story focused way.
Okay.
Like it's obviously that was for marketing material, and like there's some tongue in cheek that kind of happened with Destiny 2, where the guy fucking turns his gun puppies, and like they changed the vibe going from D1 to D2.
Right,
I would love
right.
to see more the vibe of D1.
Yeah.
Felt like a Western, like Star Wars New Hope vibe. I thought that was, in my opinion, dope. I think that's why a lot of people kind of entered the world, and then they Bungie realized they needed, well, Activision at the time with D2 needed more people, so they lightened the mood. They like jokeified it a little bit.
Yes.
I'm just throwing words out, but like you guys understand. They needed to like bring in more players, right?
Absolutely.
So I think my personal take to bring it back to the D1 vibe.
Okay.
You make a live action on that. You make a live action TV show, but you make a live action TV show that doesn't revolve around the characters we know.
Right.
Like you can reference them.
Yes.
I feel like you reference them because that'll be people that like if you know type of thing.
Yes.
But like just give it new, so then like no one's be like, oh, like Ikora's not right. Like why didn't they get her actress? Or like, oh, like
I got
that's
you.
who they got for the speaker, or who's the guy with the mask, right? The speaker.
Yeah, the speaker. Yeah, no, you got it. You got it.
And then at the same time, or further down the line, I would do something like Star Wars Visions, where you have a bunch of people come in and it's anthology, and you have the universe, and you just do little stories with different like art styles, different characters. Like maybe it's just someone that like revived a Guardian. The Guardian was like possessed by like a hive mind or whatever. It's like just a little interaction like there, and like that person comes back, and then there's an altercation, even like maybe some like trickery, or like maybe that person's like still like has some like lasting effect from like the Witch Queen, and it's like some like cool like mind bendy like interesting like, conversation, and that's just like totally spitballing off the top of the mind.
I feel you. Okay,
but I feel like there's a lot to do there, and you can like keep bringing in like new voices and new visions that could be like, hey, I want a story that's like maybe there is like an episode of like SRL, or like maybe there is something where it's like the fashion of Destiny. There's so much that you can bring that's not even in the lore of what's in the game, but like even like what us as players have experienced that you can like kind of make into like a narrative piece. I feel like it's super fun. It's something that holds so much potential. What were you gonna say? I'm super curious.
You kind of covered a lot of them, actually. No, I mean, well, it's like, what did I see? It's like The Creator. I think that's what would come out this weekend.
Can't wait to see it.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. The guy who did Rogue One, but also like it was a
Gareth
smaller. Thank you. Smaller-ish budget, relatively, like 130 million instead of like 300 or something like that. For
I think it was 80 million actually.
Okay, even better. Like, so depending on. But also, you got to make sure the VFX people are paid, because these movies like that don't happen without them. So to make sure some of that stuff works. And again, you've got stuff like Unreal Engine and Nana and Lumen and like technologies are helping some of the stuff be a bit more possible. The live action does seem possible. Man, they can't like short it though. So,
Yeah,
and that's
I
like a
agree.
hard part for
I agree.
Destiny. And that's kind of what I wanted to ask both of you. Part of me
Mhm.
wants to see like, I do feel narrative you nailed. It needs to be narrative focused. It can't be, somebody mentioned like Doom. I'm like, please don't, no, not the Doom movie. Not first person. There's the one first person movie that was like kind of cool. I forget what it was, like Harry.
Oh, Hardcore Henry.
Thank you.
It doesn't need to be that. You don't
No,
need.
no.
And to side tangent and going back to what you said before, like Last of Us knocked it out of the park for adaptation. The part that people miss with adaptations is they try to adapt the gameplay. They don't try to adapt the story. You
Correct.
can't adapt gameplay. You can't like. How do you like? Unless it's Mortal Kombat, you can obviously adapt the gameplay because it's just fighting.
Yeah.
But like, what are you gonna do? Like, put a camera like over a gun and like that's
Yeah, no.
that's what you're gonna watch. Like, I'm not. It's different with a controller in my hand or like keyboard and mouse. But like, yeah.
Yeah.
You can continue. Sorry, that was my side.
No, like, I mean, Mandalorian, there's been so much good TV. Like, that's the crazy. By the way, please just give Star Wars to Dave Filoni. The dude at least, like, loves it, respects it, knows what he's doing. Seems like everything he touches is great. So just do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, the way you said, Visions would be a cool way to tell side stories. I would like to see, like, I mean, Arcane's budget, it's got to be hard as hell to make that show because the art's really cool. I would love to see, because that way you could have some of the effects, but you're already in there. Because I mean, you're dealing with like powers and like, you know, what am I trying to think of? Strand, like throwing knives and invisible grapple hooks and stuff like that. And there's a point where like live action, I'm like, that's a lot of work. So somewhere, as you said, kind of the visions, the animated side would be good. But however they do it is all about the story they tell. And I think that's going to be the hard part. But I wonder for you guys, like, Destiny is a cool universe because we've lived it for a damn decade now. But there's so many people who don't care. Right. Haven't touched it in a while or don't know what it is.
Right.
So what story, at least for what we know, I mean, I like what you said, just going outside of it to something, but is there any story that we've experienced? Because I mean, we had like Chosen and Crow and so many different like moments where you could pull on some emotions in the right way. What do you think you could literally put that would appeal to the big audience? Like whether it's an HBO or a movie theater, like what is the thing when they promote that this is the Destiny thing, people are like, what the hell is this? What story do you think is actually going to make people watch? Because like, I'll watch it all, but I think that's tough. I don't know what the topic is, I guess.
It's whatever happens before Destiny 1.
Okay.
It's why the wall is there. It's why the Traveler is like above the last city. It's why
like the war on six fronts, or I think whatever that's called.
Yeah, it's why there is only one last city. It's like because that there is a story. One, you already have the Destiny audience in because then they'll visually see it play out and like see how all the pieces move toward what we know. It's almost like House of Dragon, right? Like we know how it ends.
Yes.
But like we don't know how it gets there.
I like that. I agree.
That's the hook. And then you just they would just market it in a way that's like, you know, sci-fi epic or like, you know, cast of characters. Like I think it could be very similar to Game of Thrones, honestly. Where there is like a big cast of people that come from like different houses and things like that. But maybe not as much politics. But yeah, I don't know. Like if you just like if it's put in front of someone like that and it's intriguing and it has like actors that, you know, people love that they want to, you know, see in something new, then like, you know, why wouldn't they watch it? And then they'd be like, wait, this is based on a video game? What's that video game? And then, you know, they'd go into it like that.
No, I love it. I love it. I definitely think, you know, pre D1, you know, this way you have an association. You don't have this attachment specifically. You're not like married specifically. Like this person has to be in it and that person has to be in it from the main game. But you kind of establish a new character, you know, who's a guardian or what have you. Yeah, I think that's dope. I think that because I do think you got to do the history before and all that stuff before the traveler gets there. But I do feel you have to kind of not speed run, but you got to get to the part where the guardian gets his ability, right? And I don't want it to drag super long because I guess I'm worried how much people would retain interest without the power of you having your ghost and you being resurrected or whatever happens. So I'm curious, how they would do that.
Not to like jump in, but somebody in chat said it earlier. attention span is kind of where I'm thinking about all of this right
Right,
now. In the way,
right.
but I was like, that's you take a show like Seinfeld, Friends.
Mhm.
They lasted for a decade, 9
Yeah.
seasons, things like that. But I was like, if you watch the first season, like they took a little bit to get running. A lot of things don't get that shot now. It has to like be a banger
Hit the
out of the
ground running.
gate. Yeah, hit
Yeah.
straight out of the gate. And it's like there's no character even Game of Thrones, that like first season, I mean, there was character development, but there wasn't as much action then. I mean, there was a whole lot
Right.
of
Yeah.
one of my friends called it titties and dragons for the entertainment value of what the first season was, and then it got to be a little less of that.
Yeah.
So there was a
That's
lot of that in
HBO.
there. So some people are going to do that. Yeah, that's the HBO audience. But your dog's face cracks me up, just like
I love the face.
and now just
Yeah.
hi.
He wants something.
Yeah. Hilarious. I love it.
But that
Coming.
is, yeah, Seinfeld wasn't popular in the first season, and that's kind of the thing that like I understand where you're going, Cog, to where when you say
Mhm.
you don't want to drag it out, but I'm also like, if you rush this thing, you don't get attached to the characters. Like the amount of time we spent with Joel and Ellie,
Mhm.
like that's what made The Last of Us start to work, is because you got those little intimate moments,
Right.
you got those little
No,
like
I get that.
things, and that, but it's also like, and that's what worries me about trying to do that with this universe is,
Mhm.
again, sci-fi is not for everybody, but just
Right.
like a character drama. So it's like, it really is going to be the way how they foretell it. I mean, if you have like the Battle of Six Fronts or something, it all comes together and
Yeah.
how the wall
No, I
gets
agree.
there. And it can be done by the right group of people, but you're going to have people kind of similar to the way Last of Us was done, who are just so passionate about Destiny that they can
Mhm.
find a way to tell it, because,
Yeah.
and also a studio or a network or something that's willing to commit. I mean, yeah, you've got
Right.
Sony's backing now, but it's like, commit for a couple of seasons because it needs time to breathe. It really does. I don't know
Yeah,
if this
It
is
does.
something you could force.
I 100%. It has to be like a, television kind of series, Netflix or whatever. It definitely has to build. I guess my pushback would be that with Joel and Ellie, these are established characters that we know and love, that have a backstory. We personalize these two. They have names, right? With Destiny, if we're going new Guardian, right? There's not I'm thinking about
But
the
I mean,
new person to the universe who doesn't know anything about Destiny,
correct.
right?
But I
heard
mean, there's a
saying,
lot of people
Right.
who watch Last of Us who hadn't touched the game either.
I understand, but these
So-
are this is a powerful story that was actually, they're mimicking what was an adaptation, what
I see what
happened
you're
in the
saying.
game.
like that
You're
was
right.
already a
There's
good story.
adaptation. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
already an amazing story.
Yeah.
So you've got the blueprint. If we're doing something new with Destiny and there's no point of reference, there's no character that we're using,
Yeah.
which I'm cool with, telling a new Guardian story. Not that you gotta rush everything about it, but for a person who knows nothing about Destiny, I do think one of the coolest things about the universe is the resurrection, right? One of the coolest things is you've been chosen by the Traveler and now you are reformed. You don't know what your past history is. So you can show someone, what their life was prior to, death or whatever. And
Hey,
then
I got a
maybe
Lord question.
let's go.
Wait.
Let's go.
So the Battle of Six Fronts. Sorry,
Mhm.
I don't
Oh,
know a lot.
you're gonna probably scratch something I don't know either, but go for it.
He's like, bring it on. So what you're saying? So I think it's great. I think if I knew nothing about Destiny,
Mhm.
and the first episode of a show that was called Destiny
Mhm.
was about, people in a city, we got to know maybe one or two of them, and they were just going about their day to day, and a giant ball forced its way through the atmosphere and
There we
just
go.
lived above the city, and
I'm
that's
there.
how you started the show. I was like, I'd be in. I'd be
I'm
like, I
there.
need to
Yeah.
know what's up there, and then
I'm there.
that's the carrot on the string, which is
Yep.
still the carrot on the string for us
Yes.
10 years later in the game,
Yep.
where it's like, what is that? Why is it here? But then you introduce getting in here. You introduce like reviving and the light,
Yes.
and
I'm
then it's
there.
like, oh, we got
Yeah.
abilities now. This is like sci-fi western, like fantasy
Mhm.
shit. I'm in. Like,
Yes.
wait, we're other baddies from around the universe like want this thing too, and there's like war
Yes.
and like fights
I'm there.
breaking out. Like, I'm in. But I think it's getting into hard territory if you try to adapt characters that we know so much to the live screen. I think The Last of Us knocked it out of the park because they just went about it so well. I think it can be done for Destiny, but it's you're always going to have that comparison, right? Like
Of course.
people tore Bella apart when she was first casted as
Oh my
Ellie. Like
God.
they were like, she can't do it. She's too this. She's too
She
that.
killed it,
And it's
too.
horrible. Yeah, she killed it. She's like, watch this, everyone.
Yep.
And then same thing with Pedro Pascal.
Oh yeah.
Knocked it out of the park.
Oh yeah.
You know, like, and that was something that like people believed in. They were going to understand the characters. And I think that show in particular, like, it was definitely made to be like a different property. Like everyone who played Last of Us was like, wow, I'm playing a movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like when you play Destiny,
Exactly.
it's like, I'm not playing a movie. Like I'm still playing a game. Like there's still like game gimmicks and whatnot. But I'm with you. I understand like you need the hook that is the kind of the same hook that the game has you. Like I need to either revive. Well, maybe maybe there's rules about.
I was gonna say, hold on, for the revival. Somebody in chat was like, where'd it go? Or however, it's like the end of the first season.
Yeah.
Like whatever, you know,
you
die, and then the ghost comes floating around and resurrects you, and that's the cut of the first season.
That's cool.
That could work.
Cool. I was and that's the other thing too, is like
to know what a guardian is. That's like, or maybe first episode, either. However you do that, it's like that's like a cliffhanger. I like the Traveler too. Either way I could go, but you kind of need to do both at some point.
But that's also like the thing that, you know, these people that make much more money than all three of us combined, like, make decisions about, like, you know, are we going to do this? Are we going to do that? But it's like, there's a balance when you adapt something like that, where it's like, all right, like, you know, these Guardians can't be popping their supers like every, you know, 2 minutes because they max out their stats. Like, I'm going to be so numb by seeing, like, you know, supers every second. Like, that's got to be a moment that you experience that's earned. Like, even just getting, like, you know, forget the super, like even just like a power before that, I feel like would need to still be earned. Like, you can't just be throwing nades like every second, or like whatever that is, you know, like, or hammers, whatever. But yeah, I don't know. Like there's definitely like a lot there that like would have to be like dialed back. I think that's why I originally said, like, you know, go before D1 and all that. Like, dial a lot back, because like the payoff will be like that much more. But you're right, E. Like you definitely need something with like the light powers in there, or you're not going to tie everything together the way it needs to.
Some reason recently I rewatched the Cade cinematic.
At
the end, like the Forsaken one, the Last Stand one. Like, that has got to be one of the most badass moments for like literally all Guardians. That fight when he's shooting everywhere, throws a couple things. You actually see a Guardian jump in there, and I'm like, all right, that's in there too. Like, that kind of moment is one of those that like would stand out as like and then he goes, and like when he finally goes golden gun, it's just and just like goes big with it, and I'm like,
and he does Blade Barrage.
Yeah, they does both supers, and you're like, what?
So trivia, they didn't. That's the first time Blade Barrage was even like thought of. Like, fun fact is Bungie came at them. I know some of the people who were like a part of that project came at them. They're like, hey, this is the super that we haven't fully designed yet, but this is like the gist. Like, we want it in the cinematic. So that's why his Blade Barrage doesn't look like what it is in the game, but it's like,
kind of his
that's
own.
the first time that it was ever like actually performed or whatever.
Nice.
But yeah, it's dope. He does both supers. He's just like, you know, Golden Gun and Blade Barrage, sick. And that's another like creative liberty that like a show can take. It's like, you know, we're not going to see the menus him like you know, switch his gun, or like three peek. We're not going to see three peek with a sword.
Yeah, like each character would almost have to have like an iconic weapon. Like Ace is obviously his, but I mean, you know, different characters, whether there's a Titan that's going to have a big old machine gun walking around or something, and you got like the
Warlock. There's going to be stories with those.
Yeah,
like whether it's like an ordinary gun or even like Kalashnikov, right?
Kvastov.
Sorry, oh my god.
Nope, you're good.
Like something like that. It just looks like a basic like M4 carbine or whatever. As long as you put a story behind it and the acting that's paired with it, be like, you know, this is my gun. Like, I've been on a journey with this gun, whether they have a name that we've never experienced that gun in the game, and it's like something new and it like does something dope, and it's like, we're in. because like you sold me a story and
Mhm.
a history with it, and maybe it looks really cool and does something cool, like, and the person behind it like cherishes it too. Like, Thor's hammer. There's
Oh,
there's
did you
it's
play
a character.
Did you play Ragnarok?
No, I didn't.
Or okay, yeah, like
God
uh,
of War.
yeah,
Yeah.
God of War Ragnarok. It's just like both sides, both MC, just yeah, as you say, the importance of like the iconic nature of certain things. Like that's
Yeah, yeah,
a hard thing to establish, but when done well, it's like damn, you respect it, kind of thing.
Mhm.
yeah. You make the object a character in a way. Um, but yeah, one day
Yeah.
we'll
Feel
get
free
it.
to write
I like
us,
that.
or feel free to send an email to us. Bungie will help you develop the show. We got
We
minds
got
working
spitballing.
over here.
We got things cooking.
No, they
Listen,
probably have
Luke
smarter
Smith,
minds on all over that. So
Luke Smith, we got ideas, man. Mark, hit us up.
Yeah.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
uh
So this is going on, E.
oh, I mean, like I could talk to him about like movies and because I mean like stuff in the game. I know it's like this is kind of an in between week before we get to the season finale, so the story's
For sure.
doing okay. This has kind of been a lot of I feel waiting for the season to get where it's going a little bit because we've had like the attunement cards and stuff, and Eris is just like building up this kind of power of what's going on. And Amaru doesn't think we're gonna get there, which
Yeah,
again,
Mara's hilarious.
he is just shit talking everywhere the whole time. Season
Hilarious. Love-
end. I don't know about season end official triumphs wise. I'm gonna say something bigger happens next week. So
Okay.
make sure you're logging in Tuesday.
Yeah,
Just to be
I'm probably
sure.
like 2 weeks behind on my catch up.
Well, I
'Cause
played
now
for
I'm doing
90
them back to
minutes
back to
straight
back to back.
today.
Oh wow.
So servers seem a little bit better.
Yeah, I didn't have any issues. I was able to kind of get through without any
Yeah.
craziness. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like I told you guys this is gonna be a weird episode, so it's like I don't know how much you specifically want to cover over Destiny. I'm more just like, is there anything you want to ask our amazing guests
Yeah.
with regards to just like movies or favorites, or somebody asked like favorite directors? Like, do you have any like just general
Yeah.
directors either you really respect, want to work with, besides all of them? So it's like whatever, but
Yes, please, I'm available.
But I mean, like, are there certain ones that you like? I mean, I could sit there and talk to you about Tom Cruise and stunts, so I kind of want to do that first. Like Mission
Sure.
Impossible, I've watched his movies. I've always enjoyed him as an actor for a long time. In personal life, you can have a judgment whatever you want, but as an actor and an action star, I've enjoyed his movies for a very long time. Even all the way back to like Few Good Men, Cocktail, and when he's really young, he looks very
Yeah.
young, which is quite funny.
Yeah.
When you go back to even Mission Impossible 1 right now, it's quite noticeable.
I rewatched, like, going off on a tangent. My wife hasn't seen any of them, and we were trying to watch all of them to lead up to
nice.
Dead Reckoning.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
it's amazing to go back and watch and see the technology advancements.
Yeah.
Like the stuff, like even just like the headsets, or like here's a mini camera, or here's a little remote. Even at MI1, they're so clunky and like,
oh man,
like
one is
someone
rough. One is really rough.
like someone will like notice this like GoPro that's like a spy camera on you. It's like it's really funny to see like how far it comes and like what they do in Dead Reckoning and all that.
Yeah. I was
but
just
yeah,
gonna say, for a stunt
Go ahead.
person, I mean, somebody's asking like best lesser known stunt movies or something like that. But I was like, what for you?
Oh, I got a ton.
Woo.
But for him doing his own stunts, for a lot of them, I mean, he broke his ankle in Fallout, which looked like it hurt like hell because he limped off the roof. But like
Yeah.
for
It's the shot
what
they used.
for what you see him do versus like all of the stuff you do, when it comes to movies, like who makes those decisions? Is it because he's got the biggest insurance rider in the world, he can do what he wants? Is it like certain actors choose like I don't really want to get into that, or does the director say it's going to look better if you're in there? You got to kind of like get over this and do it. Like when it comes to just doing stunts, because he is an extreme, and then other people are going to be like somebody else can do it. Like how does that all kind of come to pass? Just being as that's one of your specialties.
It's kind of like what you just described. It's a conversation. There's a conversation. It's like, okay, even before you get to the stunt, like there's people hired in place, like a stunt coordinator and like, XYZ other people a part of the crew that kind of like dissect everything and like, okay, this requires this and this and this and this. And, in the case of, Tom jumping over a building gap or hanging onto an airplane and it takes off, and like, that's words written on a page, right? That's
Yeah.
how it starts. That's the magic of movie making, that it all starts on a page. So it's, Ethan Hunt grabs on the closed door and, the air carrier lifts off the tarmac and he's hanging on, wind rustling through his hair, whatever how it reads. So someone takes those 3 lines and be like, okay, so Tom is hanging on to an airplane. And they don't say it like that, but
Right.
it's like, okay, how are we going to do that? And I'm sure Tom, it's funny how like the Mission Impossible movies are made now. It's more him and McHugh,
yeah.
McHugh are like, okay, where haven't we been?
Yeah, they're gonna go to space at some point, I swear. Like,
yeah, they're like, where haven't we been on a map? Okay, let's go here, and let's connect the story that's like that. And it's like, cool. What do we want to do action wise?
Yeah.
Oh, we haven't done this yet. So like, they kind of like check all the boxes off. That's kind of how they build them now. And yeah, and Tom comes in, like Tom's someone that's like, I want to do this. I want to be the guy that is there. I want people to know that I'm doing it. And that sells a lot too. It's like when an actor's doing the action, you're in. When especially in TV, they do this because the budgets are smaller. When it's like a different shot and it's kind of like, wishy-washy, maybe you could see the wig, maybe you see like just a different body shape, and you're like, yeah, it's like maybe that wasn't that actor, and like they're crashing through a window, and it's like, okay, like if you know enough, then it's like, oh nope, that's a stunt double, and that's a conversation going back to that where it's like, either you have someone like Tom Cruise that's like, I'm willing to do the absolute above and beyond, make it a highlight that I'm doing this stunt, and then you have other people like, Chris Hemsworth is known for doing a lot of his own stunts.
Because he did what? Extraction
2, like they lit his arm on fire with obviously like special gel that only burns.
That only burns too, yeah.
Yeah, the safety precautions were had, but that's him with his arm on fire, bashing at riot people, like, and that sells a lot. Like, oh shit, that's Chris Hemsworth punching people with his arm on fire. I want to see that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a conversation. And then for me, I do a lot of doubling where I kind of support an actor has to do action. It's a conversation. It's I know that I'm going to do certain things, and then I try to help the actor and vice versa. Like we try to come together toward the project, saying, we're both this character. Like I'm not, in the sake of Tom Cruise, I'm much taller than him. I wouldn't be able to double him. We're not both Tom Cruise. Like we're both Ethan Hunt, really, is like how it would be treated. So it's like, we're okay. What's the scene? He's fighting, with Henry Cavill in a bathroom. Okay, cool. Yeah, he acts like this is his character. He would do something like this. Boom, he's got to go through the mirror. Okay, cool. It's a conversation, really. It's a case by case type of thing. But Tom's a special case for sure.
I was gonna ask, the other mention was like a big one recently with John Wick, Keanu. Kind of all his like gung fu, I think is kind of what it was called with what he did. I don't know how much of a beating he took in that movie, but that man, like,
he's worth every penny of it. He holds a black belt, I think, in jiu-jitsu or judo.
Damn.
And
because he did like what 47 Ronin and some other stuff too. He's done some other martial arts a little bit.
I think. He's done Aikido. Yeah, he did 47 Ronin. As far as like movies.
Yeah. I was just trying to.
Yeah, he did 47 Ronin. I'm trying to. Oh, he did The Matrix.
Yeah. Okay.
Of course.
Yeah, that was like his big thing.
That was his early training for kung fu and stuff.
Yeah. And then that's what started him. That's why he keeps doing John Wick. Is because he fell in love with kind of that part of the industry and like that opportunity as being an actor that he can like kind of like lose himself in that. He's very devoted to the training and like the sweat and tears that's put into it. And at
actually
his age.
heard something funny about him.
Yeah.
When it comes to reloading, the flick of the wrist to throw the clip out of the gun was something
that's
he just kind of did. And then I've heard like that's kind of like gained a little traction kind of thing. Like, I don't know, but that like flick of the wrist to throw the clip out of the gun and then be able to reload afterwards. Like, I don't know if it's real. I feel like I heard that somewhere, but like, I don't know
No,
if he
it's a
had
thing.
part of that. Like, if he was behind some of that or something. Like,
He went to tactical training to learn something like that because they wanted him, especially in John Wick 2, they wanted him to go from sorry if I'm just like aiming a fake gun at the
no,
camera.
you're good.
No, you good.
He went from like, what they call sidearm to primary, which would be like, a longer rifle type thing.
Yeah.
They wanted him to switch a lot, and that's why that whole catacomb scene is
such a
like,
good scene. Yeah.
yeah, he's going from pistol to long arm, and then he picks up the shotgun, and he's got
Beretta,
all
yeah.
that. Yeah, so they wanted to do that, and there's a school on the West Coast called Terran Tactical that kind of specializes in like doing like firing range, and you're switching between like two different weapon types pretty quickly, and that flick is like I don't know where it's derived from, but it is
Yeah.
a thing. Like you see it in video games like Call of Duty, like where you flick the banana clip out of your AR and slap a new one in, rack it and all that. You do the same thing with the pistol.
Yeah.
It's just to get rid of the clip because your other hand can't pull it out. Your other hand already has the clip to slap in.
Yep.
It's just for speed. It's just
Yeah.
like I'm faster than my other person.
Yeah, the other
Just,
person.
but like watching him do that though, I'm just like, as you
It's
said, it makes
impressive.
a difference. Yeah, it makes the difference when like when he's sitting there doing it the whole time. There's not like a cut. There's not like a back of the head and kind of the wig, as you said. It's like you see it in the moment, and it makes a difference.
Chat has some
Yeah, I was gonna
questions real
say
quick.
questions in chat. You want to start? I know some of the.
Yeah, they were like, all right, so what's the Nathan was like, what's the craziest stunt you've done?
Yes.
And 3 Geeks also
All right,
says,
Renfield the movie.
let's get it. Let's get it.
I wanted to get to this one.
Yeah, I did a lot of stunts on that. If anyone's watched the movie Renfield with Nicholas Hoult and Nick Cage, I was Nicholas Holt's stunt double, who is Renfield, and there's a lot of crazy fight scenes in that, which a lot of people may not know if they didn't see that movie. Kind of flew under the radar, but yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff in that, jumping out of windows, flying from like second story to third story, and there's a lot of crazy stuff in that, and I did a lot of crazy stuff. So yeah,
Nice.
It
And
was
3
fun.
Geeks says, your favorite actor that you've done a stand-in for?
Nick Holt is definitely like up there. He's a gentleman. He's super down to earth. He's a fantastic driver. If anyone like actually follows him, he's a damn good driver. He just like won I think a Ferrari tournament. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay,
y'all are like
okay.
reacting. He's
Like-
good.
No, I'm
So-
like looking here, and now I'm like,
So fun fact, we shot Renfield in New Orleans, and because he likes to race and whatnot, he found this like
God,
go-karting.
I love that car too.
He found this go-karting place that had kind of has like high-end go-karts, and he's like, hey, I talked to these people, like we can have kind of like the
That's sick. Yeah,
So
that's
cool.
sick.
He's like, hey, we could kind of have like the place to just us, like for a session for a couple hours, and a bunch of the stunt guys like met up with him, and some of the cast was there too. We drove, and obviously like there was like best times, whatever, and he was crushing us like with times. He is a damn good driver, and it's he's just he's a great human too. It's just was
he
a gem
just
to
like
work.
shot up my chart because I already love driving anyway. Like,
Yeah.
that's fantastic. Like, that's
I'm
so
sure one of
cool.
these days he'll be a driver in a movie. Like
Mhm.
that's inevitable because he'll like
He'll
pitch
want
himself
to.
for that.
Sounds like
Yeah.
No, a
Yeah.
question like I was like, there's no way I don't ask this one. You get to like hang out with Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, Nicolas Cage is like kind of fun. I was there during like stunt training with him, and off time between like camera setups and takes like that. Not a lot of conversation, but also being like the Renfield double, like I would have to like be,
Yeah.
you know, I would have to like fill in some things with the scene with him, whether I was in a take with him or like I was just, you know, there when Nick wasn't Hulk. And he's like this. He's really funny. He's like this. He's super intelligent, and he's also like this. Like, if you didn't know he was Nick Cage, you would just think he was like he used to be the front runner in like an '80s band. Like he has that vibe. He's got full sleeve tattoos. He's like, you know, he's lived 1,000 lives, and he's just like full expression of himself. It's really fascinating to see him in
I've
person.
seen like, well, there's late night interviews a couple times, or like the Colbert questionnaire. Like sometimes, like the way he even answers questions, as you said, he is intelligent. Like there's a lot going on in there, but it's also there's like people do impressions of him where it's like how, why, where, like it's just kind of like the way he is also
He's
that.
just
So it's like,
he's just so out there that it's like hard not to like, you know, poke fun of it. But yeah, he's incredibly like artistic and intelligent. I don't know, it's like really fascinating to watch. Oh yeah.
Another question was like, do you have any fear of doing stunts, and how do you cope with that, or are you just fearless?
I'm not fearless. I mean, I'm not going to be Tom Cruise. It's each kind of gag, as we call them. Just kind of, you know, we kind of take them as like, and we're allowed to kind of like yay or nay some of them.
Oh, you do? Okay, that's what I asked you. Yeah.
It's not like, oh yeah, like I'll have chicken, no steak. Like it's not like that casual. It's another conversation that happens. Be like, hey, like maybe I'm not comfortable with that, or like, hey, like maybe I need to like slowly learn, lean into that, and like maybe I'll warm up to that idea. I don't know. There's nothing that I won't rule out. I mean, maybe I won't jump out of a plane.
Okay.
Hello. Sorry, I'm coughing again.
You're good.
You're good.
But yeah, I think it's a case by case. I won't say no to everything, and I won't say yes to everything.
As far as the working with the actor that you're doing stunts for and stuff like that, you don't have to say any names, but have you ever had like a difficult experience with someone you're doubling for, where it's just kind of like, you know, they just a little difficult to deal with for whatever reason? You know, just not pleasant to work with.
Well, I won't name names, but I think again it comes back to the.
Yeah, go take the dog out. Take the dog out. Take the dog out. We're gonna get the answer back to this question.
No.
Yeah.
Believe me, I understand. Mine's screaming at me. It's gonna be the same thing. So
no, you gotta
you
handle
guys are
it.
watching the video. Giant white fluffy Samoy is barking away. His noise canceling mic's actually doing a pretty good job at it, but you can still kind of catch it there. So he's taking
because he wanted all the attention.
So if you guys have not seen Renfield, it is Nicholas Hoult as the main character. Is like basically Dracula is Nicolas Cage's Dracula's assistant, and yeah, there's some crazy stuff he does in that movie, and I did not know that. And then I was looking through IMDb to get ready for this thing, and it was like, I didn't want to spoil the surprise, but we had to talk about it because I saw it was like Renfield. I'm like, what?
That's crazy.
That was kind of awesome to see.
Hey, my man is out here. That's good.
I'm also like insanely impressed that like Nicholas Hoult is a hell of a driver, because that's like massive respect. Because
that's wild respect.
Yeah, like I've done. I mean, I've got my videos. It's like I don't have the car to do it right now, but it's like my track days were hella fun, and it's just like
I used to hit that track. I
have a very alternate YouTube channel with like videos of me driving my car on a track.
Are you serious? Is it in the crates in the archives? This is hidden Ebontis?
I don't think there's anything on here no one should see. If you aren't watching the live show, no, it's like I'm just making sure there's no.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I didn't know about this.
Hold on.
All
right. I'm going to put the link in chat so you guys can see this as well. This is my old car. It was probably modified at one of these points.
Okay. All right. He out here moving.
Do we find more driving videos of Nick?
This is my driving video when I was actually on a track. I was sending that to him.
Yeah.
Okay. That looks sick.
Now that Ferrari is 488 challenge. Yeah, of course it is.
That's crazy.
So no, like
Yeah.
when it comes to driving, I mean, you said Nicholas Holt's a driver. Like watching Gran Turismo, I'm playing Forza. Can't say anything else. I've loved cars forever. So like even like Days of Thunder, like that's an older Tom Cruise movie where he's a NASCAR driver, and people are like, he did what? Most people don't know that movie.
Mhm.
But
No, this is
that
dope.
was when I owned a 2005 C6 Corvette. Had it modified because Joy's third time I was on a track, the timing chain broke. Pistons kissed valves. The engine was completely rebuilt. So it ended up being a very powerful Corvette with stock tires and suspension. So it was fun to handle. But no, it's just one of those hobbies that's kind of a rare thing. So when you see somebody, because I think another one, he owned a racing team, Patrick Dempsey. I think if I remember correctly, he owns Dempsey Racing, or was like in a Porsche racing team as well. So whenever I hear about that type of stuff, I'm always just like kind of
no, that's what's up.
Kind of biased in talking about it. So that's
I
my fault.
this. Nah, you good? So before IRL left, I had to ask.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you opened the Pandora's box.
I opened the Pandora's box and saying like I knew someone who's a good driver.
Well,
but
I saw you in your highlight reel. You did the stunt skid, like perfectly nailed the cone parking. I mean, I saw that, so I was like, I know you drive. You got to be a pretty damn good driver. So there's no.
It's my standards. It's someone else's. But going on your question, E, about
dramas on the set.
Yeah, there's some people that aren't warm and welcoming. I'll say that. And maybe it's a bad day, or maybe it's maybe it's just a relationship. Maybe I'm just coming in for the day and like just doing something for them, and they're just like, maybe they're never a fan of like someone who portraying them
for them.
kind of like doing something. I don't know. There's definitely like when you put it in that perspective, there could be something that's like weird and off-putting about it to some people. But different.
So let me double up. So basically, the way you said it is you do have choice, right? As far as you specific with a stunt and say, hey, your comfort level on certain things, right?
You might be going where I'm thinking, so continue.
Right. So I don't know if I'm going, but we'll see. My question is like, is it the opposite for the person you're playing? And they're like, okay, he's like, I could do that. I got that, but he can't do it. And they like, yo, let's get IRL up in here because you clearly ain't doing this, fam. This is cut.
Oh, I was gonna take it a different way. Like, not that he can't. Like the insurance is gonna be like, if we want this, it's gonna be this guy over here. I'm
for whatever reason.
Yeah, I was like, I'm wondering which side it could be, if not both.
Yeah, like they like famous actor. No, we gotta get IRL in here.
I love the car. No.
Yeah, they like we gotta get my man James up in here. So we gonna take this over from here. Has there ever been any of that type of interactivity on set? I'm curious.
That depicts, and there's nothing wrong with it, that depicts a much more independent production.
Okay.
Because a more experienced actor will understand kind of the way the industry works. They'll understand that there's cases where there will be like stunts or a stunt double or something like that. I have experienced on smaller productions where an actor is like, no, I'm gonna do it, and probably not the smartest choice. Not saying that they're stupid or anything, but like, I think it takes a more experienced person to be like to understand that a person like a stunt double or even just the department of stunts serves a purpose, and that is to come in, kind of do the risky business and make the magic in front of the camera.
Fair enough. That's what I wanted. That's exactly what I wanted. So basically, it's levels to it based on the production and stuff like. Okay, I got you. That's fun. That was similar what you was going. You was just going.
Well, yeah, no. I mean, yours was the question. If you're like, all right, this it ain't working. Put the guy in there. We know we can knock it out first try. That's one. Mine was the other side. Like somebody's like, you do have a Chris Hemsworth, and he's like, but I want to totally jump away from this explosion. It's like, we're not risking you because you're worth all these millions of dollars. Let him do it. Like, that's why I was wondering if it went both ways. And it sounds like there's probably a point where like Tom Cruise is like, I've signed my life away, I get it, yada yada, and all the writers and stuff like that. And there's other actors that are probably not quite at that level, or just choose to be like, we're not insuring this movie if you do this, and they're like, damn it, okay, fine. Like that's kind of what I figure has to happen at some point too.
And it's a conversation. It's more like, maybe there's a sit down reading of like Extraction 2, and like Chris is like, so it says like my character jumps out of a burning building. It's like, do we want to see that it's me, or like how do we want to do this? That's more the question.
Okay.
And then it's like, yeah, we'd like it to be you. We'll get you there. And it's like, he either said, okay, I'm down, or like, I'd rather not.
Right.
There's a push and pull there.
I got you.
You have a very, very aggressive friend there.
If anyone has ever owned a Samoyed,
Yeah.
this is normal.
This is normal.
This is normal. Hello.
Yeah. What? Hi.
Yeah, exactly.
What
You
would
turn
you
around,
like?
they're like, "What? What do you want?"
He's like, no, he's not going to come
Like,
to
no,
me. He's
yeah.
like, no, I'm going to make you, stupid human, come to me.
Exactly. Oh yeah,
That's
100%.
Oh
hilarious.
yeah, he's smart. He's real smart.
Like,
Maybe I have
to
I'm
get some
slowly
water.
backing out of the
Yeah,
door.
get the, go get the water. Go get the water.
2 more
Yeah.
seconds.
you're
Sorry.
good.
What's that? You
You're
good? You good? The water. He's like, yo, you better get this water, fam. Stop playing. Yo, I love how he will not come. He's like, no,
No,
get
no.
over
Oh,
here
no.
and get the water popping. I love it.
Clearly,
I love
like,
it.
yeah. Oh, if I ignore midnight, like he could like lay down here if it's his time. But if he like wants something, I could be like middle of the racing lap, doing what I'm doing, like staring here, and he just walks in. Bow, bow, bow. I'm like, buddy,
That's
busy.
hilarious.
Like you better
That is-
pause, or I'm gonna scream at you until. And sometimes it's nothing. Sometimes he wants to go outside, but either
Yeah,
way,
you gotta take care of biz. You gotta take care of biz with the lower one. That's funny. I never seen someone like that. I mean, I'm never really too familiar with those dogs. So I never seen how they behave. So that's
All
funny.
these intermissions.
you're good. You're good.
You're
We're
good.
good at filling the air.
Mhm.
Also, if you get to a point where you're just like, I need to wrap it up, let us know too.
Yeah.
Because I could probably
We're
talk
getting
about
there.
I could
Yeah,
talk
we're
to you
getting there.
about movies for way too damn long.
We could just. I understand.
Yeah, we getting there.
Another question was, if you could do stunts for a live action Destiny show, what character would you want to be or do stunts for per se?
I'll say this. I wouldn't want to do selfishly. I would want to do some Warlock stuff, but also selfishly, I would want to just rather design it rather than perform it.
Okay.
Because I think there's a lot of in there that maybe other people would like to, professionals like to get in there and do. But I think my heart's kind of shifting more toward like the action design of things rather than the performing of it. And man, anything Destiny, I'll just be like, yeah, let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah, if I had an opportunity, I would. Yeah, I would love to do it.
Go.
Well,
I
if you ever
love
need the Bungie knock, be like, excuse me, I'll do it all. Thanks. Right here. I'll do all the stunts.
Please, sir.
Please, sir, can I have one more?
That was part of the IRL journey. I really was kind of.
Oh, that was the goal.
It was the goal. I was trying to get kind of like a space where I could do things for Bungie, but I think at the time they weren't set up for something that was like that.
Right.
I did like a studio visit with them. They didn't ask me to come out.
He's in Bellevue. We's in Bellevue. Okay.
Yeah. I went out there and I saw like the space that they did like mocap in, and this was before they did a recent expansion, I guess. And this was before Sony had bought them.
Right.
And I kind of talked to them to something about that, and a lot of the animations you see in the game aren't motion captured.
Really?
Yeah, there's some things that they'll motion capture. The performance and the acting stuff and the talky stuff is mostly motion captured. A lot of even like the finishers or like the supers are keyframed. It's just animators doing what animators do best.
Yeah, there's one. I mean, Ben Platnick was doing some of it. Yeah, there's a couple I've seen, like a couple on Twitter. I can't remember all the names.
Yeah, there's this guy. His name is Richard. He worked on that like canceled mouse movie that was like mice with like spears and swords and stuff. That was going to happen like 2 years ago, but he was an animator like early D2 and even like D1, and that was someone I was able to connect with during like IRL days. And
Oh, that's dope.
he would be like, "Hey, that's a great job you did on that animation. Here's what I did on that animation." And it was just like the gray model in like a white space, like doing the thing. I was like, "Yo, like this guy's coming," be like, he's like, "Here's my work that you just like recreated." It was really special.
Nice. You guys are kind of like
but yeah,
trading.
a lot of
I'll do it
it's
in real life. You do it here, and then I'll do it better, and then you do it better.
yeah, and it was just like there's a lot of physics that are just kind of broken and like bending and twisting of
Mhm.
a human form that are just kind of like
Yeah.
heightened to make the moves that we all know and love.
Yeah, more sensationalized and stuff like that based on it. So let's just say that even though the paths have changed, right? Because at the time they were not fitted, they weren't outfitted, they weren't going in that direction per se. Or
Yeah.
we're ready, we say. So now that things have changed, and they listening to the last words. We've had Bungie on the show before; they have listened, and and let's just say, things have changed, and the time is right where they're looking into getting to this live action. My man IRL Guardian, pick up the phone. Are we so far removed now that is this, that window has passed, and now you're comfortable doing what you're doing right now? Or hey, still a chance.
I won't say no.
Okay.
My DMs are open, as they say.
You gonna slide up in the DMs, Bungie. Let's go.
Yeah, no, I won't say no. If it's a space and if it's a space that they can like cater to, that can have like a professional like me like come in and like do something for them, or like whatever their master plans are, like and I can come in and be a part of that action, with just myself or more people. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just happy to do that. Like, if I'm involved in something that eventually is in the game, or like whatever it is, like that's a part of the Destiny IP, like I'd be more than happy to accommodate that and be a
That's
part of
what's up.
that. It'd be amazing. Like, how could you say no?
That's what's up. All right, so Bungie, y'all know what to do. Hit my man's up when y'all ready. Hit my man's up. He does this for real. So
I feel
go.
so, yeah, it'd just be like, what is it? What is it? Like, Mark, no, Mark's not even on Destiny anymore.
You
Like,
got Justin
all the,
Truman and Joe Blackburn. I think are the two.
yeah, it's Blackburn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Blackburn's.
He's the creative director, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you might get into some marathon mocap or something.
Oh yeah,
Marathon looks amazing. I'm so excited about Marathon. I think the visual style of it's like really cool.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about extraction shooters, but it's made by Bungie, so I'm down.
No doubt. I know one. I got one more question before you transition. I don't know how much time we got, but I don't know if I asked this before, but I forgot. Like, how does one say, you know what, I want to get into the stunt scene? You know what I'm saying? Like,
go to a stunt school, like Travel Danier.
Yeah. Like, how would be like, yo, I want to do that. I want to, do the, and then it's like, and then the second part of the question is about getting into the game, like, is there levels to it? Like a dude's ranked, like he could do this, he could do backflips, he could jump out the car. like is there a hierarchy?
Yeah, I was like,
with
I
the
wonder if
stunt scene?
it's it's like his martial artist or gymnast a background to help with like
Yeah.
lack of fear. Like what is?
I guess there's like pillars, right? And it
Okay.
comes down to, nowadays it comes down to like, you're a driver, you're a fighter, and
Okay.
then you're, what's the other one? I don't know. Like, it used to be like a fire guy, but a lot of people like can do all three.
Okay.
Or a lot of people like, just want to be a great driver, or like you're a great driver but you can't crash a car, or like you're a guy that does like pipe ramps, or like flips the car over, or like crashes into another car, but you can't slide or drift or anything. And or you're a guy that does fire, and like you don't know what to do when you're behind a wheel, or like you don't know how to throw a punch. So there's people that like have specialties.
Gotcha.
And then there's people that are like, try to max out the stats across the board. It's a lot like, honestly, it's a lot like you're a video game character.
Your
You
character.
got all these stats,
Your
and you're
skill
just
points
like,
and your attributes.
yeah, you're just adding
Currently,
skill
I got a
points. Like,
67 in driving. I'm trying to bump it up to 70 so I can get into tier 3.
yeah, and it's like, yeah, I'm really trying to get this helmet I saw. Like at someone else. Like if I get to this, I'll get But yeah, and like myself, like I'm more of like I'd say I'm a person that like will shoot what people know as previs that's made famous by recently John Wick or like other big action movies, which is just like stunt people doing like a scene with themselves, and that kind of like proves the action, and that's presented to like the director and the creatives, and they're like, cool, let's do that, or like maybe that little thing right there like will change, like it's kind of like the movie before the movie. The Raid was made famous by this as well. That director loved that process. And then I'm a martial artist and fighter. Like I can do a little driving, I can do a little smashing stuff like that. Ride wires too.
Nice.
But yeah, that's kind of like the stuff that I'm into, and also I put my energy toward.
Dope. Salute. Had to ask.
Somebody mentioned in chat Ray Park. You ever met him?
No, never met Ray Park.
Okay.
And it, as far as like 6 degrees from Kevin Bacon, I don't think I've ever we've
been
ever,
close enough. Yeah.
No, unfortunately.
Well, earlier somebody had a question. I think I kind of blew past it, but I wanted to ask 2 different ones related to movies, since I know you're a movie buff like I am.
Yeah.
First one, just related to your world of stunts. Good stunt movies.
Oh,
that's a good question.
okay.
Like, top list 20. I don't know how many you got, but I mean, like,
that's a good question.
Whether there's a certain stunt to appreciate or just the whole damn movie, whatever you want, it's up to you.
So again, this is coming from my personal taste and what I've been into recently. I'm very much into I forget what it's called, but it's like the DTV, directed TV, Japanese action catalog. So recently a movie came out called Bad City, which is which was done by an action designer or action director they call in Japan. His name is Kensuke Sonomura, and he also made worked on a movie called Baby Assassins, which is a fantastic movie, and another movie before that called Hydra, which has some of the best hand-to-hand combat I've seen. It's definitely like a niche personal taste. It won't be like, it's just like John Wick. It's not. It's a different flavor. It's not just like it's not like Donnie Yen, if you guys know like
I know Donnie.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's a recent Donnie Yen movie called Raging Fire, which is really great. The action designer on that is Kenji Tanigaki, who was made famous by the Rurouni Kenshin series, which is one of my personal favorites. That's definitely in my top 5. And yeah, he did Raging Fire, and then he also recently did Sakura, which is also with Donnie Yen. Some really dope fights in that. I don't really know where all these are available, but I'm sure you can get them on like Apple TV.
You can find them.
Caiatl TV on that extension on Amazon has some of them.
Highly recommend.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, hi-yo! I like
yeah. It's great. They have a great selection. Not the best, like they don't curate it a lot. It seems like they advertise a lot of things, and I kind of don't see the one-to-one when they drop on the site, or maybe their dates are off or whatever. Or I'm just stupid. And what else did I just watch? Yeah, Bad City was pretty good.
Bad City.
Baby Assassins is great. Hydra is great. Sakura is great. The whole Rurouni Kenshin series is great. I'm trying to think what else.
I'm getting a theme to all of these though.
Yeah, what's the theme? I love
not
Japanese
sitting in the
action.
States. That's what it across the ocean.
No, for sure. I love Japanese action and what people do with it. There's a show on Netflix that just came out called Bloodhounds.
Okay.
That I really enjoyed. It's like about 8 episodes. It's about 2 younger kids that are are good at boxing, but they have like
okay.
different
Looking at it
styles,
now.
and then they kind of get into, which is where the name Bloodhounds comes into. They kind of get into like money, dealing with loan sharks, or like people who kind of like go and collect money that was like loaned
this
out.
look cool. This look cool. This
Yeah.
look like this is definitely by Cog right here. I'm feeling this.
And what's cool about that show, and which I love about anime shows, is there's a time skip. And the time skip is really interesting. But yeah, there's just something really cool, and that's another show where like both the actors are doing a lot of the action because it's boxing based.
Yeah.
Boxing is pretty approachable for an actor to do and learn in a short amount of time. So I thought the actors did a pretty good job with that. Trying to think what else I watched, but that's a lot off the top of the head.
It's good. No, you
did
did
good.
good.
I want to like.
I tried to mention like under the radar stuff that's like hard to find and like stuff like that.
That in the cut. I
was
love
trying
it.
to think. You mentioned boxing. Like, I mean, it's like boxing. I feel like they got to be decent at selling the punch, and like, you see Creed or Rocky or like Annapolis is one that always kind of stands out to me. I like that movie a little bit, but Warrior was one with Tom Hardy. That one, I'm like, when you're in grapples and stuff like that, that's a little more. I mean, granted, yeah, it's like they're flexing and not pulling per se and doing what they're doing, but that was one that I thought was actually pretty good. At least,
yeah, that was
watch
well done.
on my side. At least, not
when you said Warrior, I thought you were going to talk about the HBO show.
The HBO show, yeah.
Different.
I haven't got to season 3. That's also a great show if you're more into like TV. Warrior is really great. It's about like Chinese like coming over to San Francisco.
Okay.
For the first time in like the 1850s or whatever, and like how they were like assimilating into American culture and like still like the kind of racism and the backlash against that, but also like even just loosely based on Bruce Lee as a character, I think. Yeah, great show.
That's dope.
Joe Taslim is in it. Like, how could you not? Who's Sub-Zero in the Mortal Kombat movie,
Mortal Kombat joint.
like,
Yeah.
Also made famous by The Raid, which is a great movie.
Nice. Love the
I'll
selection.
say the opening like 7 minutes of that Mortal Kombat movie, the recent one, the modern one. I know everybody gave it a hard time, like for all the rest of it.
That was great.
I had fun in the movie. I mean, yeah, you got some cheesy moments. It's Mortal Kombat, but the opening 7 minutes, like the tone of that opening part with
cool.
I can't remember the actor's name, but he's in a bunch of stuff. I think he's actually in the new John Wick at one
point. Hiroki Sanada.
Yes, thank you. He's been like great for so many things that I've seen him in, but that opening part, I was just like, because they previewed that before the movie came. I'm like, this is the tone. I am so here for this. And then it kind of got a little Mortal Kombat like kind of cheese and stuff, but I was like, I had to.
Well, that's where the adaptation falls apart. It's like it's hard to adapt Mortal Kombat without getting it cheesy. Like you're gonna cut someone in half with your hat.
Yeah, like, and that's kind of where you got to pick.
You say that, and then you got to do that on screen.
Yeah,
you know, it's like as cool as that is to feel that like between your fingertips in a game, because there's a different vibe there. It's like I'm beating your ass because you're like my buddy, or you're someone online, or like I'm just going through like the game itself. But like to watch that in a movie, it's a different connection. So it's like you kind of have to like show it in a different way, but also like make it fun. I don't know. I thought it was great. I thought they set out and did enough. I didn't care for the new character. I just wanted to see the OG character.
Same. That was my issue with it. I didn't care for the new character.
Speaking of kind of like martial arts and stuff, are there any like weapons that you enjoy using? Because I know I've seen you do some stuff like swords and some of the animations and stuff for Destiny involved, like kind of like demo weapons and stuff. But I don't know if there's these certain weapons that you've like trained with or enjoy using or things like that. When you think of like Mortal Kombat, I'm like I forget what the little throwing dart is that he's got on the rope, but
rope dart. Actually,
rope dart. Okay,
yeah. Katana is like very special to me. I think that weapon's great. Obviously, Rurouni Kenshin and like Japanese action movies as a whole.
And wrong there.
Yeah, and I think it's Hiroku, not Hiroki. I'm sorry. I hate if I'm butchering his name. But if I read it,
You're
like,
probably saying it
guy.
better than I am, so I would be afraid to say it.
But the guy that plays Scorpion in Mortal Kombat,
Hiroki Sanada.
He is very. He's classically trained in katana. And he's in The Last Samurai. He's in like a lot of movies where he does like
I do remember
get
Last
the-
Samurai. Yep.
hold that weapon. He's also in 47 Ronin, and he fights Keanu Reeves.
Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I also
Yeah, that's right.
I worked on the sequel for that movie too,
Oh.
Huh.
and
okay.
there was a sequel for that movie. Yeah, you guys are like,
Oh, I
"Huh?"
never knew that.
There
Like,
was.
okay.
There.
And
You're
it's,
like,
and it's on Netflix. Here's another in the cut.
In the
Blade
cut.
of the 40,
Let's go.
Blade of the 47 Ronin, which is on
Blade of 47?
Netflix. It's definitely a direct-to-TV martial arts action movie. I did the action design for it with a good buddy of mine, and Mark Dacascos is in it. Mike Mo.
Oh, the Casco. I remember him. That's my
Oh.
man from Only the
Wonderful
Strong.
human. He's amazing.
Yeah.
Mike Mo, who played Bruce
Yeah.
Lee and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, is in it.
Oh, that's
yeah.
what's up.
I feel
The
like
Yeah,
I
it's
know
good.
him
is
from
up there.
something. I feel like I know him from something cheesy though, and I'm like,
Yeah, you know,
it's
it's
like well, it's
like
like
I
a
said.
Jet Li movie with maybe.
Oh, Mark Dacascos.
Yeah, I'm kind of.
That's my man. That was the Capoeira joint. What? That's the first time I see Capoeira on screen. I was going crazy
man.
back then.
Yeah, man. Or have you ever seen? Okay, have you seen Turbo?
Now you talking about what the Costco's?
Yeah.
Now I don't know if it's the same name. The one I seen is him and Kadeem Hardison called Drive, where he was like
Oh,
this.
sorry, Drive. Yeah, Drive.
No, that was he got busy in that movie. I don't care what nobody says.
Another a gem that
cut,
if anyone
yeah.
wants to go back, see 90s action
Yes.
by like a Japanese like Power Ranger action stunt team, but they like made a movie and it was like, you know, Mark Dacascos being an action star. Yeah, they do some crazy shit. Like obviously it's the 90s, but that movie was wild.
Oh, I love that movie.
We showed it. We had a lot of young people on the stunt team for Blade of the 47 Ronin, and they're like, oh, they knew of Mark Dacascos, and we brought him over to like where we were staying. We were like, you're gonna watch Drive,
Yes.
and you're gonna appreciate Mark for like a whole different reason. And they were like, what? Like it was really cool.
Yeah, he's super talented, man. Oh,
but yeah,
man.
that was a fun movie and a fun process I got to be a part of and
Nice.
do some of the action for. Sorry, that intercutted with what we were talking about. Oh, the weapons.
Oh, the weapons
that I like
yeah,
to
yeah.
use.
Yeah.
Yeah, sword is definitely like up there. I kind of mess with like some bow staff stuff because I definitely started with like Arc Strider class with my IRL
Ooh, that's right.
stuff. A Tonfa is like a really cool weapon. That's like it's like you hold
the
grip
handle
here and it's like
yeah.
just a wooden
Oh, the
stick,
stick, okay.
Yeah.
and you're able to like spin it
Mhm.
around your grip. Really cool weapon.
Tonfa.
And yeah, that's kind of it. You know, knives are fun. Or karambit is fun too. You get the little loop. You get to flip it around your hand.
No
Also
nunchucks.
seen-
No,
I'm not a Chuck guy. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I was gonna say like I've watched crazy clips of people doing like nunchuck stuff. Like I know this sounds like something you would probably never see. Is like are they practical in like a fight situation? Like
Yeah.
I mean, now is all the movement like practical to use them, or is it okay? I've seen them.
It's just
looks
just
weird when they're, like,
flashy
rapid-
enough.
It's just
yeah.
flashy
It's
stuff.
flashy,
they
but I
doing.
didn't know.
It's just flashy enough where it looks as good as it is to perform it.
Okay.
But like, just picture yourself in front of that person doing that
Oh,
stuff,
it's just absolutely beating the hell out of them.
and those things that those like whips and strikes are aimed at you, and like
Yeah.
try to clock that and like dodge that or like
Yeah.
it's hard. And like I think that's I don't know how the nunchuck like originated as far as like a weapon, but like that's kind of the thing behind it. It's like a hard to trace and follow
Gotcha.
type
Okay.
weapon.
That makes sense.
And because you're whipping
Sorry,
it,
guys, ignorant here. I was just
Oh, you're good. You're good.
No, it's all good, man.
No, like I watch a clip
I
and I'm
understand.
going, like I watch a clip and I know like there's because the mastery of those things to not hurt yourself when as fast as they
Yeah.
go. I'm going. There's a very very tight precision window that these people are doing this stuff in, but also I'm thinking it was hard for me in my head to translate it to like an attack per se as opposed to just a
For
shot.
sure.
That was all.
Yeah.
No, for sure. I mean, like if I were to pick up nunchucks, I'd probably hit myself more than what I would be trying to hit.
Yeah.
Like it's a difficult weapon. It's definitely it takes a lot of eye hand coordination and sensitivity to like not only are you you're anticipating where like the other end is going. You're also like feeling it too, like between your hand and your bodies. And yeah, it's not an easy weapon to pick up and just do. But like it's kind of like I get the sense that it's like drumming. Like once
It's
once you
almost a
get
rhythm,
like
kind of.
yeah, once you get the idea of like what you're kind of doing, because drumming is like patting your head and rubbing your stomach at the same time. Like once you kind of understand that, then it becomes easier to do.
Yeah. More broad question, not specifically action focused, since you're a big movie buff. You have like a top 5, just all movies. Which I hate that question too, but if I get to ask it to somebody else, I do it.
I did a podcast recently, and like after the show ended, we kind of did this. We said we'd come back for another episode and do it.
Yeah, I was like, I could have you on every 6 months just talk about movie stuff. So
I like to treat that as top 5 movies today.
That's totally fair. I approve of that because I am the same way. Someone's
like,
do you have a favorite movie? I'm like, how the hell do you answer a favorite movie? I'm like, no.
There's ones that are like, in blood or in fucking permanent marker that never leave that list, but there's some that are like interchanged. Like, I like that, blah, blah, blah. Matrix, the first one.
Okay.
Matrix.
Matrix. Matrix 1.
All time number 1. That's like in stone, in blood, in ink. Like top of my list. That has like fueled me and fed me and inspired me. Yeah. Oh, sorry to go on another tangent. Scorsese said this great thing about favorite movies. There's a list of movies that are your favorite, and then there's a list of movies that you watch constantly.
Those are not the same thing.
Right. And then that's the point. And then there's a list of movies. There's like 3 lists. And then there's a list of movies that you learn from. So you can like watch The Godfather. Yeah, it's a great movie.
You don't need to rewatch it.
You don't need to rewatch it, and it may not be your favorite, but it's something that's like you watch that, you learn from it.
Yeah.
So, sorry, tangent.
Love it.
But yeah, The Matrix.
Yes.
Damn, Rurouni Kenshin. I don't know which one, but just the series as a whole.
Series itself.
Up there. Love that. I'm probably forgetting some. Born Ultimatum is a personal favorite.
I like
Interstellar.
That oh yes. Interstellar is so good.
Has become one of my favorites. Yeah, I've watched that movie like more recently than when it first came out. When it first came out, I was like,
sound in that movie. I mean, everybody gets Christopher Nolan. Like, now you can have like, I could totally tell him to be like, bump up the vocals a little bit, and I would still be okay with the bumped up vocals.
I'm okay with it.
But generally, I will say like just the score in that. I feel like when I'm done, I'm just like, I'm tired, and I just watched a movie. I feel like I'm just like tense and. No, Interstellar's a damn good. But Born Ultimatum, I gotta ask you a question. Why specifically that one? Because I actually went through, I think the 4 of them, not the Legacy, which was still decent.
Oh, because it has my favorite sequence in that is when he jumps over the balcony into the window and the camera follows him, which is also Stunt Guy following him.
Oh shit!
Oh wow!
Awesome.
Just they gave him the camera and he just jumps like into that.
That's awesome.
And that fight where it's
in the
fights
bathroom.
That guy.
Is it in the bathroom?
Yeah, kind of like all over. He like uses the book like on the side of his head and like hits him with the book and then puts there and it hits the book. I love that fight.
That's a damn good one. Okay, I like that.
Yeah, that's good. I'm trying to think what else. What'd I say? That's 4 movies. I'll throw. I don't know. It's hard. I don't know. I'm trying to think of something that's like. Oh, my wife is calling me.
That's probably why we're gonna wrap this up soon.
Yeah, we're wrapping.
Yeah. I'll say, No One Will Save You, which just came out.
I've heard of it. Okay. No One Will Save You.
Now we all look it up.
It's on Hulu.
Okay. Looking at right now. Okay. Caitlin Dever. Okay.
Type of movie, action-packed face opportunity.
Interesting. Never heard of it.
I will have to watch it.
Yeah.
Add it on my list, which my ever-growing list would be like, oh, I should watch that. Add to my list or my stuff or whatever thing I'm watching it on. Yeah, I was like, I've got a pretty big growing one on there. I saw something pop up on Twitter that was like, those are really good. Like for me, one of them that's probably cemented is Dark Knight for me.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
classic.
Yeah.
Fifth Element.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Because it's
It's a good
like,
one.
I've watched that so many times when I was a kid, and I will still watch it to this day because it has
They
a
don't make
little bit of
movies like that
everything.
anymore.
It's like, it's weird, but it has heart, and it's like, but it's like sci-fi, and Gary Oldman's in it, which is never a bad thing. And
there's weird good action, and then there's also like weird good like story development, and the world's like
and Chris
weird but
Tucker's just goofy
good.
as all hell.
Chris
Yeah.
Tucker is just like, yo,
Hilarious.
we rolling. I'm gonna take
Yeah.
this like
Yeah.
to the moon and back. Like,
Oh, Fifth is great.
it's amazing.
So like I would say Dark Knight's always going to be up there. One that I think it's a feel, The Replacements with Keanu Reeves for me, the football movie.
I like that movie.
It's just one of those that just
That's a
feel
great
good. I
sports
feel
movie.
good watching that movie. Like it's not like doesn't hit too hard. It's just like it's just good. Like that's kind of one of those Lilu Dallas multipass. Yeah, of course.
Yes, always.
Trying to think if I had like so those are. That's the thing. When you say like favorite movie, I'm like I don't. It's so hard.
So
to
hard.
go.
So hard.
I mean, Matrix is hard to argue, but it's not like
Yeah.
I'm stealing that one. But yeah, I would have to like. That's the thing is like I need to go look at my wall and think. Like I don't know how to.
So many.
I don't know how to
There's so many
decide.
things, especially as you get older. It's like
Yeah.
I've seen so many things. Like some
Oh,
of it's
yeah.
a blur. Like I'm now remembering like John Wick 4, and I
Oh,
think it's one of my favorites out of that whole series. But like I didn't name it because I forgot about
no,
it.
yeah. I mean, like this
So
year,
many,
like
man.
between games and movies and everything, Point Break's an interesting one.
Yeah. Those are good.
What about you?
Independence Day 1. That's a good one,
Ooh.
man. Not 2, but 1. That's
Oh,
also
1 is great.
Oh, yeah.
One
It
is
was
Yeah,
classic.
Will
excellent.
Smith,
Will Smith, Bill
Jeff
Pullman,
Goldblum.
Jeff
Yeah.
Goldblum,
Classic.
Randy,
You're that guy from Vegas Vacation.
Yeah,
who
Randy,
just
what's
the hell's his
sacrificed
name?
himself.
Yep.
So good.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes. Let me see.
Welcome to Earth. Goosh.
So good. Oh my god. I thought that was so funny as a kid.
Oh,
Yeah.
a quick question.
Mhm.
The guy who plays Spawn, he is a martial
Michael
artist.
Jai White.
Michael Jai
Yes.
White.
He's coming out with a new spaghetti western movie.
I was
That
kind of
Yes.
wondering what you thought of
hilarious.
just like him as a martial artist, or just if any of his stuff.
I think it's great.
Nice.
Yeah, he's in the Dark Knight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. He was in the Dark
That's
Knight.
one of the
I
greatest
forgot
scenes.
that.
Look, a magic trick.
Yeah, salute.
Table
salute.
slam.
He's
Yeah.
good. I
Mhm.
think he's great. A great movie he was in is called Blood and Bone,
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
and
Yep.
great action movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
he's
have a
talented too. He's got crazy kicks.
Yeah, like yeah. I was watching some little thing where he was like just demoing with a guy and just like hand speed. There was a guy even just at my gym. He was like 60, 65. I don't know, but hand speed. When you see it, you kind of know it. Because I did fitness kickboxing. I was a fitness kickboxing instructor, so I was just like
Oh, cool.
trying to make sure people didn't hurt themselves more than anything. But it's like I did some
For sure.
decent kicks, like big legs, some power, but I'm slow as hell, so it's like that probably didn't help. So when I see like he had to be mid-60s, like white hair, old dude, but he's just like working this heavy bag, and I'm going. I finally actually bumped into him a little bit later. I'm like, okay, it's like I did a tiny bit, but your hands are fast. And he said he was Golden Gloves at one point. And I'm like,
there you
okay,
go.
I'm like, thank you. I'm not The Abyss,
Yeah.
a good movie, but it was like when you
Yeah.
see speed, that's one of those things that always. So a lot of the stuff that you mentioned for like action and stuff, when you see hand speed, always impresses me a lot. That's one of those things that I
for
catch.
sure, for
Yeah.
sure.
Any movies for you? I mean, chat. I could do a movie
know.
podcast and just like lose my mind, but
Just start another podcast, and then
I know.
and then
when it
I'll
becomes
invite you.
episode 266, I'll come back.
We got to have you on a lot more frequent if we're talking about movies. I mean, I
Oh,
don't know
yeah,
how much
movies
time you got,
all
but
day. Yeah, that's another joint.
yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's hard with 5 because there's so many.
I mean, just pick a
Matrix-
few
it's
ones
like-
that pop
it's
into
like-
your head. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like top 5 movies today, but it's also like, 5 things I watched that I liked recently too.
Exactly,
Like
yeah.
that kind of like that line blends for me.
Yeah, for me, it's always more the older stuff for me. But yeah, Matrix 1 for sure. We share that. That movie blew my mind. That was classic. I'm a big Terminator 2 guy.
That's a
Yeah.
good one, man.
Huge
That's
Terminator
a good
2
choice.
guy.
Yeah, you said
Yeah,
the
and don't get
Abyss, and I
Classic
immediately
Cameron.
thought
Oh,
you
True
too.
Lies also.
Yeah,
James
yeah.
Cameron. So
Don't get me wrong, Terminator 1 was amazing, but 2, to me, the series could have ended there,
Oh.
and I would have been okay. like I would have been
2 is
fine.
classic.
Yeah.
The shotgun reload on the
Oh
motorcycle.
yeah, on the bike.
Oh, dude.
I was in the theater when that happened. People were going
I'm
crazy.
like, what the what?
Oh yeah, that was classic.
And then when you were like cutting weeds one day and you had like a tool that like kind of
Yeah.
felt like that, you were like,
you're like,
if only I was on a motorcycle.
So good. I'm a big Kubrick guy. Full Metal Jacket. I really like that movie.
Oh, The Shining.
The Shining. Oh, Kubrick's whole bro. He's a beast. You know, I like that. I like all like Clockwork. I like all this foolish, all this stuff. Like Kubrick is
did not
crazy.
know you're a Kubrick guy. Okay.
Yeah, so I got that. Gotta get some gangster in there. So I'm a Bronx Tale guy. I'm a Bronx Tale. You know what I'm saying? Some lessons in there that I really like.
I like that.
I don't know. This one for my man James though. I don't know if he may not know.
Wait,
maybe
are you gonna
before
say
your
Blade
time.
2? Because I love that.
Blade 2's
movie.
classic.
Blade 1.
But this is way back in the crates. I'm sure my age with this, but if this movie comes on, 5 Deadly Venoms. Have you ever seen that?
No, I shamedly never seen it. It's come up a lot of times. I think I may own the DVD somewhere.
Bro,
I hear it.
That is classic Run show. That is arguably.
I should have known when you mentioned the Shaw Brothers before.
Bro, that is arguably one of the greatest kung fu flicks ever made. It is goated in martial arts circles. So now I will say it's better fighting in other martial arts movies than this. But the story and a cohesive story and like when you get into the Scorpion and Toad, the story it's classic. And so many tropes, it helped birth a lot of other martial art. Like people go to that as a source for a lot of things. And even musically, pop culture, you'll get a lot of stuff from Wu-Tang Clan, from 5 Deadly Venoms. You'll get a lot of references. Deadly, man. Oh man.
Is that your top kung fu movie?
No, that would probably be the most influential. But I got more in the cut stuff that
All right, give me like two. Give me two top kung fu movies. Just a side tangent. 2 top kung fu movies.
Again, I'm showing my age.
That's a dark spot on my map that I haven't discovered yet.
There's a movie called Secret Rivals.
Okay.
And it has one of my favorite kickers of all time. His name is John Liu. And he started under I forgot the guy's name, but yeah, I'd never seen kicks like that. Like the scenes towards the end as you build up was just insane. Of course, Bruce. Anything Bruce does, of course. I'm a huge Bruce
of course, Bruce.
Yeah, but Secret Rivals won. Yeah, Secret Rivals won. Oh, Thor Zero throwing out Joker. Okay. Another classic.
Oh, Corey Yen's in that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those man. Now it was funny though. You gonna laugh? You can see when they do the stunt doubles. No, that was back then when the stunt double differential was a little bit. Sometimes they bring the little guy in to do the flips.
Oh my god!
I'm like, damn, he got shot when the time to do the flips. But with the actual kicking and the martial, beautiful stuff.
I'm trying to find this movie. It's this guy. It's not really a kung fu movie. We're going on such a tangent here.
No, you mentioned Blade, so I fell down a rabbit hole, and somebody said Blade 2 is directed by Guillermo del Toro. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, it is.
I did not know that.
It is.
Yeah.
Blade 1's amazing. Blade 2 is Blade 1 and 2. 3 was...
I love Blade 2. And Donnie Yen's in Blade 2. But there's a movie, it's called... It's not Hard Target, but it has like kind of a name like that.
Okay.
I do remember Hard Target with Jean-Claude.
Yeah. I unfortunately that name comes to mind. It's not that movie. It's not Counter-Strike or like Counterpoint or something like that. I'm trying to think. It's not Flashpoint with Donnie Yen. That movie is also amazing, fight wise. But it's not a kung fu movie, which is also off topic. Whatever it is, it's a good fight movie, but it's about like a guy that kind of goes into underground fighting. Maybe it'll pop up like in a couple minutes. But yeah.
Definitely, those are classics, man. Those are the classics. I got
That's
tons
awesome.
of tapes like that. I'll watch that stuff all the time. We used to buy those all the time. We used to go down to Chinatown. We used to buy the stuff in New York all the time, man. Just whatever.
You knew once you saw it. It's like I can't get this anywhere else. I need to get it right now.
Exactly. Yeah, man. Good stuff. We can talk with him for days, man. We gotta.
Yeah, I gotta let you. We gotta
let this man go because we'll be here for 4 hours.
No, that dog finally went to sleep, so it's all good.
No doubt, but yeah, man,
Okay.
I love. Yeah, D.
Oh no, I just like pulled my headphone cord out.
Oh, okay.
No, like yeah, like I need to put something in front of this episode. I was like, we talked about mostly not Destiny the entire time.
We
so
swear we talk about Destiny at least once.
at least one time we did slightly touch the game.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's like I'm just like huge movie buff. You mentioned Nicholas Hoult, like no driving, and then like I watched The Menu. Have you seen The Menu?
Great movie. Yeah.
Such
thought it was-
a weird, like it's so hard to describe that. But someone's like, "What's it about?" I'm like, I can't tell you.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
can, but I was like, I
Because
feel like I give things away if I do.
The story's so simple and yeah.
But I was but I've liked Nicholas Hoult since like X-Men and Beast and all that stuff. He's been growing up. Like I've liked to see.
I know
all the
he's the
different things
Beast.
yeah, I've liked a lot of stuff that he's been in. And it's cool to hear that he's like just a good dude. So that's always nice.
He's a great dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
No complaints from him.
Crazy show, but thank you. Let's see if we can not make it 3 years.
Yes.
Because
Can't wait that long.
we could just like pencil in
Those
bonus
DMs are
movie.
open.
Yeah, bonus movie episode. If you ever want to chat movies, we can fill in some
I'm down.
bonuses. Yeah.
No doubt.
Well, glad to hear things hopefully are turning leaves in the writers and screen actors, and hopefully video games gets all worked out so everybody's a little
We're
more
crossing fingers. Monday we'll get some developments.
Nice.
That's what we're hoping.
proper
Right now.
properly compensated and not artificially generated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's your there's your tagline for the whole strike right there.
Someone's got to put that on a picket sign.
There you go. But yeah, let them know if you can talk about anything. If you can't talk about anything, which I don't even think you can, but you know,
No, I mean,
just where to find
for
you
sure
and what
can.
you got going on. So
Yeah. Yeah, you can reach me on Twitter at people gotta say X now.
I know, right?
no, I
I
still say Twitter. I don't even.
I still say Twitter.
Twitter IRL Guardian is my Twitter handle. Or you can find me on Instagram, which is Numidude NEWMIED00D. That's where you'll see all the stunt stuff and the things I make, and maybe some dog pictures and videos in there. And you can also find me on YouTube, and you can see some of my work there, which is J Newman 089 JAYNEWMAN 089. And that's it. And that's kind of like where I live. And yeah, I can't really recommend seeing me in Destiny because I don't know when I'll be back in. Sorry.
You just take a little break. You just take a little break.
I'm taking a break. Yeah, I'll
you be back.
We'll check in when the final shape comes.
For sure.
The final shape. We'll put the links in the
That'll
chat.
be a good
Make sure
revisit
you go
post final
support my
shape and be
man.
like, hey, how'd this 10-year saga end up for you?
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
Putting the joint that's his doing, and then we put the YouTube, the J Newman joint up in there so people can go check them out.
Yeah.
No doubt. We got you, bro. We got you. Yeah, man. Look, it was a pleasure, man. Always good to catch up with you. Always fun, man. Just talking games.
Yeah, I knew I had to have
movies.
Cognito here for this episode. There were some
that's my
scheduling questions,
man.
and I'm like, I think we got to move things around a little bit. 'cause
Yeah, I ain't missing this. I know I travel. I got things going on. I was like, I ain't missing this.
Yeah.
we gotta
I appreciate it.
align.
This is great.
Yeah,
this is great.
Man. Yeah, definitely. We won't wait 3 years for next time. We'll definitely get this popping. Good to see you, brother. Always pleasure. Love the work. Love what you're doing. Continue to shop. Hopefully everything works out on the back end with the whole, you know what I'm saying, what's going on, because we're definitely pulling for you guys, and you guys definitely need to be compensated and have a fair, contractual stuff going on, because you guys do the movies and the things that we love, man, and we need to see that. So always good to see you, brother.
Thank you, man. Likewise, this was great, and just fun hanging out, chatting. This was wonderful.
No doubt.
Well, it was definitely our pleasure. I'm working on other games and still guides for Destiny and keeping up with the week. It does seem like Destiny is going to have the big story something next week, like whatever the end of this 7-week set of triumphs. So something big is going to happen. I don't know if Eris is going to, hit 9,000 power level or what she's going to do, but we're going to find out what happens, I guess.
Yeah, it's crazy. Story's getting crazy right now. I'm liking it right now.
And then we're not far from October, so the list of games of Assassin's Creed Mirage, Forza, Super Mario Wonder, which is getting interestingly high remark. Not shocking, it's Nintendo and Mario, but like could be a very, very good one. Spider-Man and Alan Wake. And I'm like, man, I
Yeah,
can't
bro,
keep
and I
up.
got
So
Phantom Liberty to get this weekend.
Yeah,
There's
that-
so many
that
games,
just
bro.
dropped.
So many games.
November and December is when we're gonna play them all because I don't know a whole lot going on then besides Avatar. So
Yeah.
yeah, be busy playing, and I got family in town this weekend, so I even have a little less time. So beautiful. Seriously though, thank you, James, for being our guest tonight. It was an absolute pleasure. I could talk your ear off probably as long as Cog could, but about very different topics. I think
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
would hit you from
It
both
We got
doesn't
sides.
different.
matter.
We got different tangent chambers. Like I got the
Yeah.
martial
Oh,
arts
it's
chamber
good.
with him,
Oh, it's
and
so
then you
good.
got the movie, the classic, like this.
Yeah.
And he's been all the worlds. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we got him for
I-
gaming.
I
so
have
it's like,
so many curiosities about the world of Hollywood and stuff. Like it would never end. So it's good we have a time limit. I would never shut
Yeah.
up. So
that's why we bring him
Yeah,
back
yeah.
for the next joint.
yeah.
As long as the people listening got a kick out of it.
Oh
that's
yeah. If
all
you guys
I'm
had
happy
fun,
about.
if you made it to the end of this one, you're a fan of the show. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
Salute.
True
Well,
fans.
for episode number 266, let's not wait for episode number, God, what is
Yeah.
400? Probably something like to get you
400
on
maybe,
here.
Someone will do the math.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 410 or something to get you on. But for this episode, it has been the last
last
word.
Last word.